Highest blessings. I am Shalom Melchizedek, co-founder of Cosmic Sexuality and Universal Meditation.
I am Victoria, and I am the co-founder of Cosmic Sexuality and Universal Meditation.
Can you tell us about the Cosmic Orgasm?
Right now, it's believed that the orgasm stems from this sexual experience or some sort of goal to obtain. But in truth, it's so much more than that. In our work together with Cosmic Sexuality and our journey through Cosmic Sexuality, we learned that sexuality is really about our spirituality. And this is very important to understand because you can have sexuality without your spirituality. But in truth, our sexuality was always connected to our spirituality. But we can also forget who we are and then proceed through life that way. The orgasm is an energy alignment. It is not a physical experience. It is not just a sexual experience. The cosmic orgasm is between you and all things within and around you. It's very deep and profound. And through our work together, we have many around the world experiencing these new heights of sexuality, but more importantly, alignment. And it's even being done beyond touch. So that dispels that the orgasm is some sort of goal or something to obtain, or it's about performance. If you have someone that experienced a cosmic orgasm through deep alignment, beyond the idea of sexuality, but through the methods and connecting of sexuality, that's one of the greatest revelations ever. And that's what we are experiencing with others around the world through this journey of cosmic sexuality. The orgasm is so much more than you've been told.
When we say that we're orgasmic, we're saying that we're tapped in, turned on, tuned into our sexual energy, our life force energy that is pulsating through our entire existence. When we go into the understanding of sex, we become the technology of source when we're in the act of sex with another. The orgasm signifies us bringing all of our source energy into union with another to feel what it feels like flowing through us and all of our divinity. We are the orgasm. We are a sexual energy, and that is our existence. So it is a merger, it is a meeting of activation within us of every single aspect of our embodiment before our lover. And when we tune into that energy with our lover, we create a third with the God and the goddess energy, and that's source energy. That's big energy that you're bringing down, and you're activating these codes within you that shifts the union, that shifts the planet. And this energy is the energy of creation. It's the energy of growth, expansion, of change. We are becoming our God, goddess, and God selves through the orgasm and through cosmic sex.
When you come into deep alignment with yourself, and you come into that alignment with your own source energy, your innermost being, and then you align with another that's coming to their own alignment, their own deepest self, their innermost, their source energy, it's inevitable to reach the state of cosmic orgasmic alignment. I want to say this is deeper than sex, but it's only because of what's happened to sex on the planet. The denaturing of sex and the taboo and the shame around it. So when you have to think about this, you have to bring something more into your sexuality. And this is why we went into our hearts and we believe cosmic sexuality has come forth. Because the cosmos within and around us are in harmony. The cosmos operate in alignment. So when we bring this aspect of ourselves to our sexuality, which is our birthright, we reach epic heights. And this is just something we want everyone to know. What you're watching here with us is about the next level. It's about the expansion. It's about who you really are on every level.
Cosmic orgasm happens from experiencing the sex of our soul. It is a full blossoming and unfolding of all the layers of our being and existence. When we go into this experience with another, we're activating all levels of our body and our being. When we have sex, we can have sex two ways. We can have sex from the mind, from the body, which is physicality, or we can have sex from the soul, which is using all of our faculties, all of our being, all of our source, all of our entire soul to connect with another. And you're bringing that energy into union, into harmony, and you're transforming yourself and the union as a whole.
Can everyone experience a cosmic orgasm?
Yes. We hear everything about the orgasm. We hear all the conversations and the dialogue. And for us, what a lot of people don't understand is we have a life before cosmic orgasmic alignment, and we have a life with cosmic orgasmic alignment. So we do understand the conversation that we hear as a collective. What's important to know is when you hear a statement like all women orgasm differently, it's a very misleading statement, and it's not backed with, to me, some of the best research, which would be actually going into what we did and learning the sexual experience, mastering it, but then working with others and seeing their experience and collecting all this data. We all have energy centers, and our orgasm occurs through our energy centers. No matter where you feel it in the body, that is coming from an energy center, which we call chakras or chakras. Everyone's trauma is different. Everyone is blocked differently, and that gives an obstacle to the orgasm. But to say that we orgasm differently will say that we have different energy systems, we have different frameworks, and that's misleading. If you were to sit with anybody on this planet and you were to touch the centers of their body, you will feel the heat emanating, and that is the indication of an energy center. We all have those. You cannot be in the body without an energy center. So in order to understand this, you don't orgasm differently. Your trauma is different. Your sensory to pleasure is different. Your connection to sexuality might be different, but the orgasm for all of us is the same. And our work with Cosmic Sexuality in this journey is to show the world the cosmic orgasm is your birthright and everyone can access it. And we have the data, the experience, and testimonies to prove what we're saying.
Can everyone experience a cosmic orgasm?
Yes, any and everyone can experience a cosmic orgasm. Orgasm is alignment, and alignment is simply a connection to source, and source says, I am. I am all. I'm everything. I'm not outside of any experience. I am the orgasm. And when you understand that you are the orgasm and you're not separate from it, you can experience orgasm as many times and as frequently as you wish. But as Shalom communicated, it's trauma that keeps us outside of the experience. It's our ego. It's sexual dominance that keeps us outside of it. So we have to decide how deep we're willing to go within ourselves to meet ourselves, our own lover within us, to be able to show up to the experience and say, I'm ready and willing to meet my partner in this experience and show up and participate in my own orgasmic alignment, my connection with source, because I can get there. I feel source within me. I know I can feel source within sex. So yes, every single person can experience a cosmic orgasm.
Many of you may be hearing what we're saying and thinking about yourself, where you're at in your experience, whether you have had an orgasm, a cosmic orgasm. And what I want you to consider is this. This is about your alignment and your birthright to your source connection, however you identify. We don't tell you how to identify, but this is about the connection that's deepest within you. We understand right now, if you're watching this, you just may be where you're at about your orgasmic experience, but this is the purpose of our work here with you and on this planet. We are committed to this expansion. You are meant to live an orgasmic life. You are meant to live an exciting life. Your intimacy is meant to be deep within you. You are not meant to be limited. And a lot of the time, it's not so much just us, but the alignments we form with another that's not connected within themselves. It would make that experience very difficult. Victoria always says, if you are a person and you can orgasm on your own, and for me as a man, it's important to say my orgasm is not connected to ejaculation, it's separate. If you can orgasm on your own, you should be able to orgasm with your partner. But this takes commitment. This takes learning our energy centers within our energy bodies, our intimacy. It takes connecting with another that has done the same. And it's only through the devotion and dedication of your sexual journey that you will begin to unlock all of what's meant for you.
When you're going to connect with another to prepare yourself for this orgasmic alignment, you must trust in the source within you. Your source guidance oftentimes will show up to a sexual experience and not feel anything at all, not feel energy, not feel excitement. And that excitement that you feel when you're ready to connect with someone is source saying there's an alignment here. And if you don't feel that excitement and you go into the act of sex, you're now forcing it and you're causing trauma. You're causing sexual trauma rather than experiencing expansion through sexuality.
People hear us say these words, but they will resonate differently when you actually sit with the practice and learn how to connect deeply within. This is the basis of our work. Meditation allows us to find the stillness needed to connect to that energy in us and around us. And a lot of the times the world doesn't create a space for that. So you have to create it. And we've gone as far as to say that this is now part of our intimacy, our universal meditation practice, our daily devotion to ourselves, to our world, how we show up, how we connect. Because it's very hard to expect connection from another person and you have shown up and you're not connected. So we just want you to know the journey is up to you to take every step along the way to your highest expansion.
What's the difference between cosmic sexuality and tantra?
This is a great question. We get it a lot. Early on my journey, I studied a bit of the tantric arts, and I want to say this: tantra is a deeply respectable art and school and path. The West has sexualized it. If you speak to any true tantrika or a practitioner or someone on the path, they will tell you that it's more than sex, that tantra is more than sex, that there's rituals, there's devotions, there's yogas, there's so many more aspects, ceremonies. And for us going deep into this journey, it was about sex. Yes, we have our aspects, but cosmic sexuality is all about sex. We're not shying away from it. We don't want anyone to feel offended by a practice. So when people ask us and go, well, it's just like tantra or how different it is, we simply say tantra isn't all about sex. That's respectable to that practice. But for our practice and as founders, cosmic sexuality is about sex. If you're ready to master the sexuality, you were born of the sexual waters. This is not something we need to be shying away from. We need to figure out as much as we can about the sexual process. That's what we do at Cosmic Sexuality. And that's a big difference. We are 100% focused on the connection of spirituality and sexuality and how we interact with each other in this way will change, I know, the planet and how we relate. At the end of the day, when we're in deep alignment with ourselves, we can find deep alignment with another that has found deep alignment with their selves. And that's the difference between cosmic sexuality and any other sex school. It's about deep alignment. It's not just about a sexual practice. It's about the energy and connection of it all, which is very important to who we are as a human race.
When you take the ritual without the alignment, you get two bodies connecting an ego. And the ego, the physical body, can't love you to the depths of your soul. But if somebody's meeting you in alignment, the experience becomes mutual for both people. And it's important if you're having sex, because sex involves two people, that it's a mutual experience. And when you're in this state of deep alignment and you throw away the idea of the ritual and you focus on the alignment, you get there. Your spirit and your soul automatically knows what to do when you go to connect with another, when you're in this deep space of alignment, and it becomes the ritual. What you are doing becomes the ritual of source. You become the embodiment of it, and that is the difference. If you focus on the source first and alignment first, you get to all the heights that you wish to get to and beyond. So 10 years of work into this moment in time. What was your first feeling?
Cosmic sexuality has grown so much around the world. Seeing it become a household name, household teaching, and in so many countries, only source could do that. Only God, the Most High, all that is, can make that happen. And we knew it was the right time, like, to get a visual out, who we are, what the practice is, the others that are connected to it, and offering a larger medium for a pathway. And how did you feel?
Just excitement and trusting, because everything that it took to bring this moment together, I knew it was going to be big with us. After getting to this place of mastery with it, like you kind of shared, and seeing other people mastering the pathway, excited about the pathway, and sharing, from all the teachers that have been certified through the courses. And I knew it was time, like you knew it was time, that all of what it is that cosmic sexuality is for others be shared with the world.
I agree. And something that I want to speak on that comes up, it's controversial, is the feeling of the letdown. If you're connecting with your partner and you are not yet retaining semen, and that feeling of you're in the moment and there's a sudden release of energy, a release of semen, and the way it feels as it can drop the energy. One thing that comes to mind is speaking about how when the orgasm is occurring within the goddess, and that surge of energy can literally trigger the ejaculation within the man if he's not aware of his energy and how to cycle it and move it around. I remember one day we had basically did some tests around this, and I entered you, and we basically stimulated you to the point, and I wasn't moving at all, to the point where you were ready to climax with more of a local orgasmic experience. And immediately I began to feel all the energy in my body rush and eject and want to ejaculate out. I think from that day forth, we realize it's not so much that the man is doing something wrong, but he's not able to circulate and hold space for his lover's orgasm. So that brings me to this place where I feel like you always talk about it, but do we understand when we talk about holding space for your lover's orgasm and cosmic sexuality, what does that really mean? Because it's such a controversial topic. Someone thinks there's something wrong with them, or there's something wrong with me as a man. I'm ejaculating, or I ejaculate too quick with my lover, but they don't know that that's her energy is so big. They haven't prepared their body for her energy. And I know in Cosmic Sexuality, we work with others to prepare their body for their lover's energy. Can you shed light on that for me?
Yeah. The other day, we're coming into this big cosmic orgasmic moment, and I'm always tuned in to what's happening, like for myself and for you. But in the process of going so deep into that moment, I was able to feel it in a way that I hadn't before, of like all the mechanics of what you were doing. And I remember saying to you, just being like in this space of like, wow, like I guess like all like understanding everything that it took for you to bring that moment to meet in alignment of the orgasm, and feeling you be so present in yourself, but also at the same time allowing yourself to be excited to be able to pull down the orgasmic energy that was in me. So it's almost like this balance of needing to be present so you can calm yourself while still calling that fire that's inside of me like to this orgasmic moment. And in the middle of both of them was like time slowing down.
Yes.
So it was just this moment of understanding that there's three different things happening, you know, and just like understanding all of what that took for you to do that is big. And that came from just mastery of you understanding your own system and understanding me in such a deep way. And I think just the early days of us doing that 21 days and really going deep in with each other helps with those mechanics, because if you're trying to come into the moment fresh with nothing at all, you know, no understanding of what's actually happening, it feels like the impossible. But when you understand everything that it takes to get to that moment and cross that bridge in you, because after a while, once my orgasm is so close to you, you don't have that feeling of needing to ejaculate anymore.
It's so far that once you reach cosmic orgasmic alignment and transparency, you know at that moment, you know before that cosmic orgasm, that's exactly you nailed it. You brought it back full circle. You know in your body before that cosmic orgasmic alignment occurs if you can hold space for your lover's orgasm. You feel two things, either calm or overwhelmed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, you have not created the space yet in that moment to hold that orgasm. And that brings me to timing. Because at that point, that means you're not in alignment with the energy of you and your lover. Because if you are, then the timing will synchronize to where you're expanding as the energy is expanding. When you're so used to making love and having sex and it feeling so tight, you're constricted before you get in there. So your lover's is building up orgasm and you closing down shop. You feeling like we're so trained to ejaculate and to come that your love is expanding into this orgasm and you're decreasing, you're shrinking into this ejaculation, and you have to keep that heart open. You have to keep your body open. You have to keep your space open. And I believe that's what the cosmic breathing has allowed us to achieve. The cosmic breath work makes it possible for us to keep open and hold the space for our orgasm and our lovers. To me, that's magic. To me,
it is magic.
That's unspoken magic. Yes, and thank you for sharing that.
Tell us about the journey of cosmic sexuality.
For me, I didn't know what sex really was. I knew it was special on some level because when I was a young man, I wanted to choose my partner at the time to lose my virginity to. I had that in my heart that was important. but I still didn't understand what it was. My understanding of sexuality was based on constructs of other things: the world, society, pornography. I would say very unnatural examples. And I started to really get discouraged about sex and my addiction to porn, my shortcomings. I wasn't always able to show up sexually. This is before Victoria. My whole life, it would be hit or miss. I didn't know really what it was. And when I came into deep alignment of myself, my being, my universal meditation practice, the practice we practice and teach together, I have this saying: I was tantric before sex. The only example I have close to is cosmic energy blossomed before I touched anyone sexually after a point in time. I was celibate. I was having a path of celibacy. I did not want to connect with anyone sexually, and I went deep into this meditative journey. And this is why we share meditation in the cosmic sex practice. And going deep into this journey, I unlocked so much of what was buried within me. With that said, I had tapped into this sexual, spiritual, high orgasmic energy before any sexual encounter. And my other experience to that, I felt, was connecting with the energy of what I call goddess. So when I speak about goddess and I see my partner and I see that energy, I have a tangible experience and connection to it. So I can look in her eyes and feel her soul and feel that connection of the feminine in all of our reality, this source goddess aspect that permeates all of us. So my journey made me realize that you can activate this energy before sex. And people come to us and they go, I want to practice cosmic sexuality. How do I start? And I'm like, healing. We like meditation, alignment, inner work, cleansing our past, coming present. But in order to get you to your sexual journey, you have to be ready for all that comes with that. The energy opens first, alignment first, then the practice. You bring your alignment to sexuality, and I guarantee you it will be cosmic.
Tell us about the journey of cosmic sexuality.
The journey of cosmic sexuality began from our own embodiment and mastery. Shalom came to me as the divine masculine, already embodied in his energy, already having an understanding of his sexual existence and his spiritual existence. And I did the same. And when you're asking someone to have sex with you, you're inviting them to meet you at the depths that they haven't met you yet. And if they're meeting you at the depths that they haven't met you yet, they better be at least where you are with yourself, if not deeper. So when we got into the practice of cosmic sexuality and understanding that we were really just at this door, that we were knocking at this door, and we knew that there was something deeper, something behind this door, we were like both like, let's go. We've already broke limitations within ourselves, so we know we can get to this more together. And that's how the practice of cosmic sexuality began. We just continued and devoted to each other to say that we want to experience this more with source. Yeah, we're making love for hours. It's great, but there's still something inside of you that I can feel, and has something inside of me that he can feel, that we know that we can get to together because we've done it within ourselves already.
I'm making love to Victoria one day, and we're going for hours, like legit. Like at this point in my journey, my stamina is completely different. I have a sense of energy. Every woman prior to Victoria was, I can say, impressed with what I knew sexually. They felt like it was a mind-blowing experience to experience someone with energy or energetic alignment. And I would get all this communication about it. And this started to make me wonder what has changed about me in my journey. What was different? But when I got to Victoria, she was slightly impressed. She wasn't as impressed as everyone else. She was in the middle. And I looked in her eyes one day, we're making love and we're going on about a few hours. And I'm giving it all I got. I really feel like she should be mind blown by now. And she simply was not. I looked in her eyes, and for the first time, I could look in her eyes and see she wanted more. And I didn't have that more. I didn't know where it was. I have it, it's within me, but no other woman has asked for it. So in that moment, I began to really sit with myself and really go deeper. And I believe that session ended, and I really, really said to myself, I gotta bring everything that I got. This is important. I gotta bring everything that I got to this sexual experience with my partner, to this intimacy, to this connection. Going for hours wasn't the answer, but she just was looking in my eyes like, this is it? Like, this is what we're just gonna keep going? It was like, no, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna figure it out. Like, I know there's more as well. I just never had anyone call it out of me. So I knew the answer was deeper, more focused, more present, more alignment. And literally that was the shift from what we knew about any other idea of sex practice in any way to what we now know as cosmic sexuality. We found a whole new gear. Like, instead of like making love for hours or, we flipped the whole structure. So now Victoria can reach cosmic orgasmic alignment in anywhere for 60 seconds, 3 minutes, 10 minutes is like the longest. And this is what the culmination became after hours of making love. We would reach some sort of energetic height, but we still couldn't tip the scale. Flipping this whole model and saying, instead of going longer, instead of going far into this whole sexual experience, we're going deeper. We're going more aligned. We're going more heart focused, more concentrated. We learned what we now know as cosmic sexuality, and we activated some of the most incredible experiences we could ever imagine. And I love this story because it's the only way to frame that you don't need to practice sexuality for hours on end and get discouraged, but you do need to show up with your whole self. And if you do that, you only need but 20, 30 minutes of connecting to go into this deep alignment state. But if you can't even go that long, you can get there even sooner. It's not about time, it's about connection. When people hear this, they go, well, why is this important? Because if you can connect deeply sooner, why wouldn't you? Why would you be there in a sexual experience and just going on and on and on and losing momentum when you can pick up momentum and go into this deep state of alignment together mutually? I don't think anything else is bigger than that in my book. I feel like it was a game changer of connecting. It made sex pleasurable for both of us. It made her more fulfilled, and it showed her that I was always showing up, that I wasn't coming into this experience half-assed and just bringing only a tenth of me, and I'm showing up with all of me every time.
The map that Shalom gave you guys just now is so important to understand, because most people, when they get to this point, it's either a breaking point for them or a point of expansion. He didn't go outside of himself looking for the physical manifestation of this big orgasmic experience, but he went within him. He asked the source within him, what can I do to go deeper? And as a divine masculine, that's so important, because it's like you're searching for the orgasm in your partner rather than filling into it, rather than aligning into it. So just having that awareness and that devotion, when you get to this bridge, you're almost there. You're halfway there. You just have to cross the bridge. And by going through the processes that he just mentioned, the deep alignment with self, and then connecting and really, really being in tune, being very intuitive with yourself and your partner, to reach this cosmic orgasmic alignment.
Before Cosmic Sexuality, sex was definitely hit or miss. Before Victoria, most of what I understood through sex came from the outside world, and there's very little education about it. Even in high school, you go through a sex ed, and it's very serious, and I want to say it's not intimate, it's not deep, it's not exploratory, it's just these simple terms and explanations, very uncomfortable. So before Cosmic Sexuality, it was just a very unaligned experience. I call it crash and burns. We talk about this. Victoria mentioned in Learn to Love. I mentioned in Return to Ancient Lover. Crash and burns for me was you meet someone awesome. You love them. You feel like this is the one. And then it just crashed into this fiery mess and you don't know what happened. You spend all this time thinking, where did it go wrong? Who did what? What's my responsibility in it all? And it leaves you very shaken. And then you meet someone again and the whole process continues. And it's when I got tired of crash and burns, my whole life changed. When I became more aware, more conscious of consciousness itself through universal meditation, deep meditating, deep practice, I basically started to ask the tough questions. Why is it still happening? And when I would sit in meditation and I'm basically in tears after this one relationship ending, I realized that something was happening and I needed to get to the bottom of it. And as I sat there, I want to say the words, but it was a feeling that came up. It was like sex. And I was like, sex is the problem? This is how I begin a dialogue with myself. I go, sex can't be the problem. Everyone has sex. And sitting there, it was basically like, take a look into the sex. And I sat there and had this revelation right away. Every relationship that crashed and burned once was fine. But then once sex was introduced, over time, the relationship itself changed. And this made me then look into what's happening in sex. And the only thing I can get to at this point was ejaculating, like releasing semen. The one thing I was able to look at was when I was celibate, I attracted great friends and partners. But when I began to be sexual, everything changed. And I don't think it was the sex itself, but it was the releasing of semen, the disconnecting from myself and then my partner at the time, not Victoria. It was the red flag that made me open up to that there's something more out here. And at that moment, I began to do research, and it was meager. I'm talking about, there's like Eastern quotes that talks about the severity of releasing your semen and your life force and your spiritual energy. But as far as a Western idea, there wasn't much here. It was the opposite, like an orgasm a day, which is separate from ejaculation. An orgasm a day keeps the doctor away, and it was all this other dialogue. So I had to go deep beyond whatever I can find out there. I still wasn't convinced through a few quotes that retaining semen would be the path I would be walking on. But it would become what we now practice as cosmic semen retention practice and cosmic sexuality. It would not only change my life, Victoria's life, but thousands of other people's lives around the world. And that was my journey before cosmic sex leading up to it.
What was life like before cosmic sexuality?
Life before cosmic sexuality was based in expectation and it ended in disappointment. And none of the experiences were orgasmic for me. I had this expectation that if I was showing up and opening up myself to have sex with someone else, that I would reach orgasm or even experience something at all. But it always ended in disappointment because I didn't feel anything. And I was trying to almost, in a sense, create this alignment through sex that just wasn't there before it. And so, of course, it would end in disappointment because there was nothing there. And I think that a lot of women do that when we are trying to experience an aspect of ourselves that we haven't. We default to either toys or masturbation because we know that there's this deep orgasmic experience that is our birthright that we're trying to reach, but we can't get it with our lovers, with our partners. So then we take matters into our own hands, and that's not what sex should be. I had to realize and reframe that if I'm having sex and it's supposed to be mutual, that it needs to be something occurring during the act of sex. And so one day I just said, I'm just not having sex anymore, because if I feel this alignment with myself, and then I go to have sex with someone else and I don't feel anything, then something's wrong. That's an indicator that my spirit is saying there's no alignment here, that I shouldn't be going deeper into this experience with another because I'm not going to get anything from it. Either you're expanding through sex or you're becoming depleted and someone's taking something from you. And because I was on this place of my spiritual path, of cultivating my energy and understanding that I had this orgasmic energy, this cosmic energy within me, I had to become very sacred about how I use this energy and who I let share it with me. And I knew that if I could experience orgasm in meditation by just focusing on the source within me and the mirroring of source outside of me, which for me was Yeshua, the energy of Yeshua, that if I go into sex and I don't feel it, something's wrong. I need to be able to feel this because I feel it in myself, and I'm no longer going to go into these experiences and give myself that way and almost making the other person glow and giving them this energy. And then at the end of it, just left questioning, what's wrong with me? Am I broken? And of course, you're not broken just because you can't experience orgasm, but it takes two people to be able to meet in this space to get there. And if you're meeting yourself there, then anybody that you're connecting with should be meeting you in mutuality.
How does one begin cosmic sexuality?
The first step to the journey of cosmic sexuality that we help others realize is healing. We get asked all the time, if I'm going to learn cosmic sexuality or practice this or teach this, can I do this alone? Do I have to be with someone? And we always say, even if you came with someone, you would still be practicing and mastering alone first. Your alignment is important first. And when we talk about alignment, the word comes up a lot nowadays, but we've been teaching alignment for a long time, before there was any popularity around it. In order to know if you're in alignment with who you really are, or your source connection, or being your truest or favorite self, you have to been able to heal from the past that have held you back from you. You have to heal from the limitations that you've been taught or told. So we have a root healing process that we share that allows you to heal and restore the masculine and feminine connection within you that stems from our maternal and paternal sources. Then we also have a toxic cord removal process that allows you to remove all the debris from toxic relationships of your past. When you clear your foundation, you get to know yourself. You do the inner devotions, you do the inner dedicative work to yourself, the meditations, the cosmic breathing, the processes, the visualizations, the affirmations. You get organically on this deeper journey of expansion to your highest, to your cosmic sexual orgasmic self. To me, that's one of the first steps for anyone. Even if you think you know sex, we must be thorough to go forward.
What is cosmic sexuality?
Cosmic sexuality is the highest excitement of your soul merging with another in sexual union. When you look at any spiritual text and they talk about sex, it says someone knew another person, they knew them. And when you hear people talk about sex now, it's either I fucked this person, I had sex. There's no reverence in there. There's just this mental or physical stimulation wanting to connect in this animalistic way. But we're not animals, we're spirits in bodies. So when you understand that, you have to have sex from that aspect, from a spiritual place. So when we have cosmic sex, we're not forcing, we're not creating, we're not manufacturing a connection that only started at a physical level, but we're fusing all of these centers that we have with another. And we're saying, come into me, know me. I'm ready for you to know me on every single level. And that's a sacred experience. And that's something that you have to be ready for. And that you have to say, if this changes the fabric of who I am, it changes me. Because I'm ready to know myself and know my lover in such a deep way that is going to expand all of me. It's going to bring me to source. It's going to bring me to source within my partner and source within myself on a level that I haven't even imagined yet, but it is tangible for me to experience.
This brings up for me an ancient ritual that was called the ritual of kingship. And it was in ancient Egypt. And this comes up, and it's important for me to share it because when I found this information and it came to me, it was really, really powerful. It really basically stated in order to be a pharaoh or a king in those times, there was a ceremony of kingship or a ritual, and in which the goddess handed down to the priestess the rites of this sacred sex ritual. And in order to test the man, the divine masculine embodiment that was fit to be pharaoh or king, he would have to perform 50 orgasms to the priestess. That was the only way they knew he was a descendant of the divine or God. This is what the cosmic orgasm is. There's a bunch of orgasms on the way to it. There's a successions. You're going into this deep alignment, and then you go deeper into another alignment and another alignment till you reach what we call the mother of all orgasms, the cosmic orgasms. It's an orgasm with you and source, you and God. This orgasm isn't about me. When I see her in cosmic orgasmic alignment, I see her with source. And I'm with source. So there is no jealousy. There is no separation. Just alignment, just embodiment. And you have to know that if you think, oh, that sounds amazing, or that sounds like too much, or I couldn't imagine that, imagine it. It's your birthright. And when you are ready, you will come into the alignment of the orgasm of your soul.
What is cosmic sexuality?
Cosmic sexuality is the integration of your spirituality and sexuality on the highest levels possible. Your true sexuality is connected to your spirituality. And for us, cosmic sexuality is the embodiment of all of it. It's leaving nothing behind. We're not shying away from anything. We're not hiding anything. Intimacy is a big part of it. Connectedness. Many people think they know cosmic sexuality because they hear about the cosmic orgasm and cosmic charging and all these processes that we have that we teach and we share with others around the world. But they don't know, they don't understand how intimate it is, how much of alignment is the main factor of this whole sexual experience. That the cosmos around us and within us is in alignment. It's in harmony. You don't see planets crashing into each other. You don't see the sun divorcing the earth and the moon. You just don't see that. The whole system around us is constantly evolving. Everything is having sex all the time. Everything is sexual. Our energy cells, our atoms, electrons is all sexual. Think about the two sides of a battery, positive and negative, the feminine and masculine, however you want to look at it. These energies are within us and around us. So when we speak about cosmic sexuality, we want everyone to know this is about you, your spiritual self, your sexual self, completely integrated and operating on the highest level. That doesn't mean you cannot have passionate sex. It doesn't mean you can't have fun sex. That doesn't mean you can't do kink. You can do whatever you want, but just be in alignment when you do it. Stay connected to you, and who you with stays connected to themselves, and then you connect together. That's cosmic sexuality. Sex does not create the alignment. Alignment creates the sex. And this is what we've mastered on our path. We find deep alignment, and then we come into our experiences together. And we also want to say that our intimacy has become an inner experience. We hear so much about intimacy, but we don't understand that this is an inside-out experience. We very often want our partners to be intimate with us, and we want the world to have this intimacy with us. But that's a tough ask when we don't have that intimacy with ourselves. And this is not as simple as a love yourself first and someone else love you thing. This is more about how are you showing up and being with yourself so that you can be with another. Because it doesn't matter how they're being, if you're not being, it won't connect. And cosmic sexuality is all about connection and alignment first.
And how does one begin cosmic sexuality?
When you're ready for the path of cosmic sexuality, it starts with planting this deep seed of devotion within you. You must begin the practice of cosmic sexuality from the heart, from your innermost being. You cannot go down this path from an external force that's forcing you to learn cosmic sexuality or go deeper into yourself. It cannot be a lover, it cannot be a friend. You must choose this path for yourself because it's such an intimate path. You are merging with source, you're connecting with source. That is sexual. You have to soften into that. You have to allow yourself to blossom into that and to say, I'm bare before myself and before source. I'm ready for this path and wherever it takes me. And I'm showing up every day, each moment, to be able to align into this experience. And that alignment begins with inner intimacy. How deep can you go into yourself and not be afraid of what comes up, not be afraid of loving yourself, seeing everything that's there to say, I'm ready for it to change me. I'm ready for it to transform me. I'm ready to soften and be in all of my embodiment. I'm not going to be in my masculine more than I am in my feminine because I need both to work. I have to be soft and I also have to be ordered. I have to be source. When you're in source alignment, that's divine order. So you need both. You need all of yourself to show up to this experience.
What is universal meditation?
Universal meditation is about the relationship with you and your universe, within and around you. And we deliberately spelled it this way. It's Y-O-U, universal. For us, there's a lot of styles of meditation. We needed to share the meditation practice that worked for us the most and that we studied. And when I say studied, through our inner practice, there wasn't an easy way to study meditation for me with someone because my journey was really, really organic. So was Victoria's. So our practice of meditation has come from a deep practice and mastery within. In practicing meditation, me and Victoria wanted to share the actual steps. We called them tips. We would give these out free all the time. You just emailed us, you got a whole list of steps to meditate. And one day, we realized we were getting constant feedback. Emails from everyone around the world saying, these tips helped me, they changed my life. I'm having so much success with them, we decided that we wanted to share them via books. If you hear about meditation, it's said that you cannot teach it verbally easily. That is something that's better through transference, sitting with someone and guiding them. But I knew that the outcome of us being able to guide every single person that emailed this would be difficult. So we wrote these tips down in a specific way by studying the meditation that we were constantly doing that was effective. And we just simply wrote it down every step. So we basically would go into meditation, I, myself, or Victoria, and go. And as we're in meditation, we're writing down these details of everything that we're doing, calling upon a spirit guide, the cosmic breathing, the focusing on powerful words, affirmations. These tips to this day, we still can find an email trace of them, but they're in our books now. And it worked. It was one of those things that it was better than nothing for so many people that had no sense of what to do and going into a state of meditation. Now we have videos and we have the books, of course, and we no longer have to send out those emails. Universal meditation is the practice of you and your universe. It is about you. What else could it be about? When you meditate and you come into your own deep alignment, it's not about anything else. Okay, because anything else you're going to interact with, you still have to have a connection first. So this practice is important to us. It expands into the cosmic sexuality focus through the cosmic breathing, the universal meditation, the universal meditative focus that you need to get in to practice cosmic sexuality. When you're in a state of meditation, your whole systems are going and everything's flowing and working in tandem and harmony. The point is, through universal meditation, it's a bridge to cosmic sexuality, and we're bringing everything together to work in harmony.
What is universal meditation?
Universal meditation is a very simple tool to connect back to your innermost being, your source connection. At some point on our spiritual path, all of us are looking for this nostalgic feeling of home. And when we think about home, we're really craving, our soul is craving for that connection to source, because that's what we remember. That's where we came from. We came from that source point. And while we're here, it is our job to reconnect back to that, because that's where we're returning to as well. So through the practice of universal meditation, we're going inwards to do this, to connect to the source within us. Oftentimes when we think that we're trying to get into alignment, we think there's something that we must do that's external outside of us. But alignment is an inside job. And through meditation, you're uncovering all of these layers that you place upon yourself during your journey that keep you outside of your connection to source. So by saying, what happens if I get still? What happens if I become very present with the presence of myself and just release? Then I'm attuning myself back to this frequency that I'm craving, that I remember. And then it becomes almost just intuitive to you and natural, where you're like, this is where I came from, so this is where I'm going to live in this moment here and now, because that's what it's about. It's about this connection and not just having it in meditation, but living from this place. It's an embodiment of you with your source and saying, I'm not separate from the source within me. I am source. So if I am source, I need to understand how to maintain this at all times. And that's what universal meditation allows for. It gives you the practice, the training to say, I'm so present with myself that if I leave this moment, that this moment comes with me.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Rick Leibarger. I work as a financial planner for the last 25 years in the corporate world. I have worked. Through that, I've had lots of successes as a financial planner, and I've had something that I felt was always missing from my life. It was a lack of feeling self and a lack of self-worth. Even though I had success and was making money, there was something that was missing. And for the longest time, I buried it in alcohol, in things that would distract me from finding out that true self. My story is a journey of a phoenix rising from ashes, wanting to heal like I want to breathe. The journey begins with a healing of the soul, a healing of self. The journey is about learning to love myself, learning to trust myself, feeling worthy, and giving gratitude for all that is, the good and the bad. They teach us both. Frankly, we probably learn more from our darkness and from the bad things that happen to us and the hard things that happen to us, the challenges, than we do from everything being easy. I'm a father of 3 kids. I can tell you that my journey has enriched not only my life, but the journey that I've had with my children. I have deeper connections to them, to family, to coworkers, and to friends.
Talk about reclaiming who you are.
Reclaiming who I am, that's been a journey that's taken me a long time. As a child, I was sexually abused. I had a father that was in prison. I had alcoholism in my family. And for me, those things were something that I just couldn't deal with. And as a young, 12-year-old, I shut down from the world. I put on a happy face and I pretended that everything was okay. because I was afraid to feel anything. And I became a master at hiding. As my journey evolved, most people would not know that there was anything wrong because I was hiding so much. Feelings, emotions that were hard to face, realities that were hard to face. So I got involved heavily with my work. I worked a lot of hours, and I figured if I did well and I supported my family in a good way, that meant that I was successful. It meant that my family loved me. And to me, my thought was that money would bring me happiness. I heard a statement that spoke to me, and the statement was, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. As I let that resonate in my body and in my mind and in my soul, it freed me. It made me feel that there was more that I could do to heal and to grow. And I took a journey. I took a risk. I took a journey. I leaned into fear, and I started the process of healing. That healing took me to studying Kabbalah. That healing took me to having a life activation. Took me to studies in sacred geometry, studies with the mystery school, reading books from amazing people. And there became pillars for my healing, pillars of not only studies in ancient teachings, but also studies into meditation, which helped to slow my mind down. I learned on my journey that running 90 miles an hour was not going to get me where I needed to go. I needed to slow down, and I needed to face my fears. Cosmic Sexuality for me was a part of that journey. It was a journey of learning to love myself, learning to release that which held me back, to create space, to broaden myself as a human being, as a soul. I want to share something that's been very personal for me, and personal because it was about my sexual abuse. Recently heard some statistics that say 1 out of every 6 men is sexually abused. Men. And that it takes an average of 24 years for a man to even address that issue. And the average age for abuse is about 11 and a half years old. After I was sexually abused, I became very shameful about sex, about how it made me feel. But at the same time, I was very determined to choose to heal from that. What I did was I ended up sleeping with a lot of women. It became my own way of showing love. And it was a way to control that love and not be hurt. As I've grown as a man through being able to express and release that abuse from my life, it took a hard time to even be able to mumble these words. I'm having trouble with mumble. It was hard to mumble, to say, to speak that I was sexually abused because it carried with it so much shame. Even to a therapist in a private session, I couldn't speak it because that showed that I was vulnerable and that I was weak, that I had been abused. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. As I've had my own kids and I've looked at their young ages and their innocence, I realized that I had to give myself a little bit of a break and not be so hard on myself. as I started that journey of my healing and made peace with it, one of the things that helped me make peace with it was just being able to talk about it and not feel like I was being judged. I came across Cosmic Sexuality because I was having trouble expressing and feeling intimate. I realized that sleeping with lots of women was not the answer to happiness, and that actually connecting with a partner, connecting with intimacy, feeling love, eye gazing, feeling that energy, knowing that you're in the exact same space was a far more enriching experience than a one-night stand. I started down the path of cosmic sexuality about 3 years ago, and I couldn't finish. So these realizations that I'm sharing with you right now actually came within the last year of my life. I knew that there was more to experience. I was ready for love. I was ready for intimacy on levels that I've never experienced before in my life. And it's, one of the reasons why we're here on this earth is to experience love with another and to share intimacy. I went down this path again with Shalom and Victoria through Cosmic Sexuality, and I knew that I really wanted to heal as much as I wanted to breathe. Started doing the class, started doing some one-on-one work with Shalom, and it felt good to speak to another man who was not judging anything that was happening, but actually encouraging me to feel into this and lean into this darkness that was in me, to shine light on it. I took the course. Through that course, it taught me about divine feminine and divine masculine energies, and that we have them both inside of us. And one of our biggest areas of balance is to learn how to work with both your divine feminine and your divine masculine energy. It makes you whole, like the yin and the yang. Where there's darkness, there's light. Those two are our teachers. Through the work with Shalom and Cosmic Sexuality, my biggest breakthrough was the work that I did, the writing that I did. That writing to complete the course helped me see a deeper side of me that I had not been able to really look at, and it was that I was ashamed to be a man. My abuse had taught me to hide my masculinity because I wanted to play small. I wanted to just kind of blend in with everyone, and I didn't know how to express myself. And at 52, learning to do that is one of the scariest things that I've ever had to do, because now I have to be true to who I am and to answer to that and honor it. And it's actually been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, letting go of the thoughts that other people have of us, their opinions, letting go of fear of being judged, but also to share. And I have no shame right now in my life about sharing any of this with all of you, because I know that there are people out there that want to heal.
Can you tell us about Cosmic Sexuality, Energy Work, and Wisdom 1?
One of the biggest things that Cosmic Sexuality has taught me is the flow of energy in our bodies and how powerful we really are. As you breathe and you come out of a meditation, having the room adjust to you, as opposed to you adjusting to the room. It's your reminder of embodying and empowering yourself through that energy. my one-on-one work with Shalom and the mirror that he provided for me to look at things that I couldn't see was a big part of my breakthrough. And one-on-one work has helped me to learn a deeper level of working with my energy, with my tools, coming to peace with sexuality, my sexuality as a man. And I think that what's beautiful about that is it's not unique to me. We all have this energy within inside of us. We're all created with that energy. And as we do our breath work and as we do our meditation and as we do our rituals, we can learn to move the energy within our bodies and ultimately learn to move that energy with a partner. Shalom encouraged me in my journey to find things, to find words, to find meaning to words, to things that resonated with me. Encouraged me to find self-love. It's one of the things that they talk about in the Course. Your own alignment with self. In that alignment comes through love. Self-love being number one. It comes with trust. Trusting yourself, but also trusting that the universe has more in store for you that is beautiful and empowering. And it may not seem like it's possible to have a breakthrough or to have a different life, but I can tell you, I rewrote my script. I did it through wanting to rewrite it, not just thinking it's a fun idea. So it takes work. It takes work to heal, and it takes work to release. Through cosmic breath work, what I learned is I needed to get out of my ego mind, and I needed to release that. I needed to get into my body and to feel the energy flowing through my body, to feel it flowing through my chakras. As you work through your practice of breathing and cosmic breath work, meditation, you learn to connect with these energies. It's not an exclusive thing. If you can feel, you can heal. Through Cosmic Sexuality, some of the greatest things that I've learned is I've learned a deeper appreciation for women, their beauty, their essence, their power, their love. They are warriors. They are our greatest ally, our greatest friend. They help us to become better because they are a mirror to us. Sometimes in ways that we don't like, but they teach us. And if we're willing to listen, we can learn so much. They are more than just beautiful bodies they are more than a tool for personal masturbation. They are goddesses. I want to read you all a quote from Shalom and Victoria's book. This is a book full of knowledge. This is a book that awakened me to seeing and understanding so much more about sex, sexuality, and being with my partner in a deeper way, showing up in a deeper way. How to make love to a goddess. Making love to your mate physically is not enough. You must go beyond. You must make love with all of your awareness, with your complete being. must first touch the parts of each other that can't be touched physically. You must reach them from within. This is the beginning of cosmic love. She is more than a body, and you are more than a body. You are living energy, and when you dive fully into your lover completely, you will meet them in all of their glory and divinity.
I just want them to know that they're worthy. They're worthy of their cosmic sexual existence. They're worthy of their cosmic orgasmic alignment. You don't have to shy from your orgasm. We don't need to hide the orgasm. Everybody's orgasm isn't different, but our trauma is. Alignment's the same for everyone. How it looks like to everyone is different. How everyone alignment looks is different, but alignment's the same, meaning that alignment is you and your God, you and your source energy, you and all that is. And that is the same for all. We all have that capacity within us. I don't believe that it's harder for you or me. It's harder for you to reach source than me. But I do believe, depending upon my upbringing, my trauma, my ability to be worthy of connecting to my source could be different. It could feel further, it could feel fleeting, it could feel defeating to get to that point. But if we really reach that stillness within and practice our inner work and our devotion, we are all capable of our cosmic sexual path and our existence. The journey of cosmic sex is simply about love. Returning to our ancient lover within, connecting to a love within and around us, loving our families, loving our friends, being true to who we are. It all starts with who we are.
And just this, hearing you talk about it, just reminds me of the feeling of after the cosmic orgasm and cosmic orgasmic alignment, that feeling of feeling full, like just full of life force energy, full of source energy that literally is just moving through your whole body. And I think when you first go into the experience, it can almost feel like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean to feel full? Like, what does this energy even mean?
Well, let's go the other way. What does it feel to be empty?
Right.
So many people in love and relationships, or so many people in relationships feel empty. They don't feel satisfied. They're not satiated. So I think it's powerful that you drew that comparison, because what does empty feel like? If you don't know what full, if you're afraid of your fullness, your wholeness, then that means you are still within your emptiness and your lack.
Yeah. It's a deficit in belief of your worthiness. You know.
A deficit.
A deficit in belief of your worthiness.
Deficit in belief in your worthiness. To know is everything. When we truly know who and what we are, I do believe the shift will be natural for everybody.
Yeah.
I do believe that the cosmic orgasm one day will be a path that everyone at some point would have walked in their journey of cosmic sexuality. This is because we all were born through these sexual orders, and it's only right we experience that on a cosmic level of our true existence.
Yeah.
What would you say to women who never experience orgasm, have problems experiencing orgasms? That's big out there. A lot of women can't or don't disconnect it from that. Can cosmic sexuality help them?
Yeah.
Yes, we get we meet a lot of women that's never had an orgasm, especially during sex and intercourse. And that's important because the amount of women that's experienced orgasm through masturbation, and that's a bit higher, but the amount of women that experience orgasm through penetration is even lower. It's dramatically different. And that's why we find Cosmic Sexuality is the tool, because that's where me and Victoria orgasm. The cosmic orgasm in this practice is within penetration. It's within sexual connection. So we never have to depend on the oral sex or anything like that to connect and experience orgasm. But we hear this so often, and I'm so excited for Victoria to speak on this.
I hear it. Just when I hear it, it's just so interesting because I know women think that there's something wrong with them, or they're just trying to understand why they haven't had this experience, why they're outside of it, and almost becomes like this elusive feeling like, am I ever gonna feel this within myself? But the main thing that I hear that's consistent is women go, I just don't feel sexual. Like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel any sexual energy. And I'm like, well, you do, because there's areas of your life where you feel genuinely excited. There's something in your life that you feel excited about. That's orgasmic. You're just not putting that energy all across your whole life and your whole world. You're compartmentalizing it. And when it comes to sex with another person, you're shutting it off because you go, whatever reason, you just don't feel it. But that's just a lack of alignment. That's not a lack of orgasmic energy, because you just felt it in another area of your life. You felt it in your work. You felt it in connecting with your friends. You felt it in the idea of abundance. So really tuning back into your own connection of where that starts with, and then allowing it to expand in your world so that you do feel sexual again. You should feel sexual even if you're not having sex. You should still feel your own sexual energy. And a lot of women, when you go into sex and you don't feel that, and you're trying to connect and you're forcing it, instead you're creating trauma, and you're also training yourself just to have sex void of anything else, out of obligation or out of just trying to maintain a relationship with someone. And you have to then undo all of that on top of trying to tune back into your sexual energy, and it becomes impossible. That's what it feels like. Instead of just saying, if I don't feel this moment, I'm just not doing it until I do feel it in myself first.
Wow, you are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You work perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If you have 7 chakras, you have 7 energy centers, you can breathe. You can do the cosmic breathing. You can experience orgasm. You can experience cosmic orgasm. You are not broken. The orgasm is beyond touch. The orgasm is about energy. It's about the alignment of you and your source and your soul. And you are ready for it. But you do have to release the past. You have to let go of trauma. You have to let go of the trickster in the mind telling you can't experience this, or you'll never experience orgasm, or you feel so far from it that you are literally outside the vibration of it. But when you put yourself in the vibration of love, intimacy, pleasure, trust, Victoria speaks about this all the time. If you don't trust your partner, you won't have your cosmic orgasm with them. If you don't trust them, you won't bring this orgasmic alignment. You won't come to orgasmic alignment with them.
Yeah.
Trust is mandatory. And sometimes the trust just starts with ourselves. Do I trust myself to love this person and love myself? Do I trust myself to love? Do I trust myself to connect and go deeper? Am I afraid of pleasure? Am I afraid of intimacy? Am I afraid of connection? And Victoria wrote about that in Cosmic Sexuality Part 1. And I think that was a game changer for people, because so many people like, this is true.
Yeah.
I can't orgasm with someone I don't trust. You can have sex with someone you don't trust.
Yeah.
You can relate to someone you don't trust, but can you orgasm with someone you don't trust? You're not going to feel the feeling of let go. You're not going to feel like you can let go. You're going to feel like you need to hold on. You're going to feel like you need to stay tight. You're going to feel like you can't even let them go, let alone yourself. We love each other through freedom. We don't love each other through bondage. That's not love. Most people are in relation to bondage, like stay with me, don't leave me, versus be the best you and let's be together while you're the best you. That's a huge shift. So that's a great question. The orgasm, the cosmic orgasm, is for humanity.
Yeah.
This is everyone's birthright. And everyone knows what it is. It's in their heart already. The home that they are returning to, that love, that's what it is.
Let's talk about Victoria's path of retaining energy.
My path with retaining energy was a very interesting path. When I first started on the path, it really didn't come through as that's what I was doing. I really just started on my spiritual path, and a byproduct of me being on my spiritual path, I came to this bridge of knowing that this energy was coming up and understanding that it had to go somewhere. But when I really started on this path of cultivating my energy, it had a lot to do with my own inner healing. I was going through these inner schools, what people call mystery schools, or just getting different degrees, spiritual degrees of information that was coming to me. And as I began to integrate it, it was unlocking something in me that I hadn't felt before at all. And it was this energy, this realness, this depth of just being in touch with your source, with your soul. And then one day I was just in this meditation in my room, and I was reading the Bible of all things. And there was these passages that was talking about love and just this depth of love, and it just did something to me because I felt it so deep in my soul. And I'm like, whoa, this love that they're talking about, I've never felt that. I've never felt that anywhere. I haven't felt it in a relationship. My parents love me, but I haven't felt this love that they're talking about. And everything inside of me wanted to feel that. And as I kept reading these passages every night as I was doing this meditation, I just felt this energy growing inside of me, and the spirit of Yeshua just mirroring in front of me as almost like this idea of what partnership and love should feel like. And one day I was just sitting, and I just remember just getting this kiss, this literally like energetic kiss. And I understood it to be this coming from Yeshua, the energy of Yeshua, and it was orgasmic. And I was like, whoa, like this is different. It's not weird, but it's different. And after that, whenever I went into my meditation, I just became more and more comfortable with allowing this energy to build inside of me. And it began to cultivate and grow and grow and grow. And then I got to this place of, I was already celibate. So I knew that I wanted partnership. And I knew that if partnership came into my path, that I would need to understand how to interact in partnership in a new way. But I had become so comfortable with the idea of my sexuality and spirituality kind of just not integrating yet, because I looked at it as two different things. Like my spiritual path was my spiritual path. My sexuality was still this thing that I just didn't know what to do with. But I knew I had to figure it out because I wanted partnership, and I needed that aspect as a woman within partnership. And so I had to almost release the idea of celibacy, of not owning my sexual energy, because it was like I was setting myself outside of an experience that I knew I was worthy of experiencing with the right person and through the right way. So I had to really look at what my thought pattern was with it. Why was I celibate? What would it take for me to choose to no longer look at my path this way of I need to choose celibacy to be in this specific alignment with my source? So I began to go into understanding that what I was being shown in these meditations and just from the blossoming is that the energy of my sexual energy and my spiritual energy were one. And then that's when I met Shalom at that time, and it challenged me to go beyond the point of figuring it out, because Source communicated to me very clearly that this would be my partner on the path. And he was in the same place on his path. He wasn't having sex, he was celibate, but we both knew once we connected, we couldn't really change the magnetics of what was happening. And we both were aware of wanting to choose this new opportunity to go forward with our sexuality without it being a disrupt to our spiritual path. And we had this conversation about it. We were in our own embodiment about it. He came with his own spiritual practices and I came with mine. And so we had a reverence for each other and a reverence for the work that we did. And we didn't want to mess that up or that be a reason why the partnership wouldn't work out. So we had to really trust each other, allow for that blossoming of what was before us, and how to learn together how to integrate the two of coming into this sexual path together and our spiritual path in union. The first time I had a cosmic orgasm, we went through the process of making love. We say 21 days, but for us at that time, it was probably longer than that. And it was an everyday process. And before we had got to this point, we had done all this work together, independently and together. We would meditate with each other every day. Shalom could feel where my energy was. I could feel where his was. And I still had this aspect inside of myself that was seated so deep from trauma that I had done my own work to release it. I had gone to retreats. I'd done my own inner work with it. But there was just this idea still of like repressed shame or guilt around it. When we went to make love one day, he could feel this sense of energetic block within me. And it was from that experience of my past. And literally, I got to this moment when we were making love, and he and I went so deep into the experience that trauma literally popped outside of me as this like energetic thought bubble. That's what it felt like. And I felt this big release of energy just released from my body, and I felt completely free and completely unhinged, and I felt like I could just soften into this experience with Shalom, and it became this massive orgasm that began to just snowball and snowball and snowball. And it was so big, the energy was so big around it that it just changed the way that we made love after that. Every time we made love after that, we were able to get past that doorway that we felt, that bridge that we felt. And this experience became our norm. And we wanted to go deeper and deeper, deeper into those depths. But that first cosmic orgasm that you have, it will challenge you to go beyond any limitations that you still have remaining. Of course, it is your job to break your own limitations first before you meet with your partner. But there's something so sacred that happens, and there's this encoding, there's this healing that happens from the process with the partner when you show up ready and open and just to what the depths of where you can go together. And the cosmic orgasm is everybody's birthright. There is something that changes inside of you when you have this deep experience of connectivity, of love, of devotion, of reverence with your partner and with Source as a whole. So we understand this to be the way that everyone should have sex, because you're connecting with an aspect of yourself that is missed, that feels so far away from you, because most of us walk around disconnected from the source within us. So we go into sex that way, and we just expect that to be the norm of what happens during sex. But when you release those limitations and you just simply say, and you go deep into your heart and simply say, what happens if I cross this bridge inside of me and I just let go? And the cosmic orgasm is what happens. That is what happens. And then you become more and more comfortable with yourself in this experience. And it becomes the only experience that you want within the act of sex and with your partner and within your union.
What is the role of a goddess in cosmic sexuality?
The role of the goddess in cosmic sexuality is very important. If you look at any spiritual master on the path, they always had a counterpart. If you look at a pharaoh, he had a pharaohress. If you look at the god, you had the goddess. If you look at Yeshua, you had Mary. But all these relationships and dynamics got forgotten, erased. And as we got closer to the time period that we are now, the idea of female pleasure and the use of the female has gotten completely distorted in the practice of sex, and it has become over-sexualized in general. Women are looked at as a way to just have pleasure, and their pleasure is an afterthought in that process. And women have become more comfortable with accepting this idea of that they're just there to support their partner or to be a release for their partner. But if you are in a true partnership, that involves two people, two members. You have the male, the female, the divine masculine, divine feminine. That starts within you. So if you're first able to honor that relationship within you, you couldn't go into a union and forget that dynamic. You would have to say, well, I have this as a template within me. So if I'm going into a partnership, that should be reflected there as well. I need to be honored just as much as he's honored. I need to be devoted to just as much as I devote to him. And when you take that perspective, you can bring the practice of sex itself back into wholeness. And your pleasure is your divine right here. It unlocks something within you. And before you leave this plane, that is your right to experience that. So when you take that aspect and you care about how that plays out within your life, you can reach new heights and dynamics of love, of union, of sex that you are worthy of experiencing. A lot of the times we just feel like we're not worthy of experiencing something because that's not how the dynamic is set up. But when you flip that and say, well, I'm worthy, my worthiness starts with me, it starts with my own alignment. I wouldn't let someone love me less than I love me. I wouldn't let someone fuck me less than I could do for myself. If I have the idea of pleasure within me and I can reach orgasm on my own outside of sex with someone else, then I'm not going to come to a mutual act of sex and experience anything less than what I can give to myself. But when you take away the idea of ego or any one person in the relationship dominating another, you can come to a neutral ground and say, how can we get to this experience together? Each individual within the partnership should not feel pressure of it being this overcompensating practice for either person. It should be a mutual experience of alignment. And alignment is alignment. You cannot force alignment. You cannot fake alignment. But alignment happens when two parts come together that are on the same playing field and they go, we're just creating more of alignment. So that should be the process of cosmic sex and your role as goddess. What is my part first? And your part first is to say, I have a responsibility to myself to heal completely, to release any shame and guilt around my sexual past that keeps me outside of orgasm, that keeps me outside of my worthiness. I'm going to release any sexually dominating thoughts of, I need my partner to ejaculate. I need him to release his energy every time we make love because it makes me feel good. All of those things need to be reframed into a mutual perspective of, we're both showing up for each other here. And how can we make the best of this, the most of this, our highest expression through the medium of sex? And then when you've mastered your own self, then you would have the same care for your partner. If you're going into a mutual act, you would have to understand the other dynamic, the other side of it. So once you understand yourself, you say, how can I understand my partner more deeply? That would be you investing in the mechanics of what's happening with his own practice. How devoted is he to his practice? Does he have a spiritual practice in place? Is he practicing semen retention? And the importance of why he would need to practice semen retention. It's really educating yourself on yourself and your partner as well, so that you both can come into this mutual space together and have this reverence and devotion of the practice and both experience this orgasmic pleasure that you're both seeking by trying to connect in the first place.
What is it like having a partner retain his semen?
When you have a partner that retains his semen, it shows you his care for his own devotion and his own inner being and his own source. And that's most important to not just sex, but the relationship and the partnership as a whole. If a man or woman doesn't have a reverence for their own soul, their own source, then they won't have the same reverence for you or anything within the partnership. And a man's semen contains his life force energy, which is very important for him. And when he chooses the path of semen retention, he's choosing to retain that not only for himself, but during the act of sex, it maintains the connection, the sexual connection, because he's not spilling that and releasing it with every time he ejaculates during sex. Having the partner that's on the path of semen retention does take some time to adjust to if you don't have your own sense of connection to the divinity within you, because it almost feels like this sense of control that he won't release within himself. But when you look at it as the opposite of he actually wants to be connected to his God self, why would I try to manipulate that or change that? I want that for him, because if he's in connection to his God self, then he's connected to the goddess within me, the energy that's flowing within me. And the union as a whole is almost has this sacredness built into it, because when a man protects his seed and has reverence for it, then he has a deeper aspect of knowing that he wants to stay connected to you and not have any excuse to break the energy from ejaculation or just recklessly. And that's important to a union, to know that if you are going to go this deep with someone, that they want to maintain that connection. And that's what it means when a man is retaining his semen and he's conscious about it and he understands why he's doing it. Any practice is hard to maintain if you don't have an understanding of why you're doing it or why your partner's doing it. So when you choose to tune into his process of semen retention, it helps you as well to understand how it can help the union as a whole and help you guys continue to grow and expand, rather than to reach these heights together and always end up at a backward step. Or if you have sex and he ejaculates and you just feel disconnected from him, but you can't put your finger on why. I remember so many women communicating this to me, or even being in those places prior to Shalom, of just not understanding why the relationship was failing, or why right after sex the person didn't want to have any connection to me in that moment. And it just felt like you're being thrown away, because he literally threw the connection away through the ejaculation. And I know that sounds extreme, but when you maintain your life force through ejaculation, that is what you're doing, is breaking a connection. And that connection has to be rebuilt consciously. And if it's not, then you're going through this descension of the relationship failing and spiraling downwards, rather than you guys growing together and magnifying your energy and union.
What would you tell a woman who feels like a failure when their partner doesn't ejaculate?
It's first important to understand that a man's ejaculation and orgasm are two separate functions. So a man can still experience pleasure through orgasm without needing to ejaculate. So if you're overly focused on your partner's ejaculation and you're not focused from a mutual perspective of your own pleasure as well, you're in your sexual ego and dominance. You're essentially making your partner a slave to his sexual urges by needing him to ejaculate every single time you make love. And if you're making him a slave to his sexual urges, you're making him fuck you from an animalistic aspect and not his soul. And you have to decide how long you want to be fucked like an animal, or if you want to be made love to like a goddess, because that is a big importance. And if he's a sexual slave to his urges, he's a sexual slave to any woman that comes by with a nice ass and tits. You have to want to choose a higher union for yourself and for your partner, and stop keeping him at this level of needing to be in his animalistic state constantly, because he's more than that. There's God within him, and there's goddess within you. And it's not your right to choose that for him. If sex is mutual, he has that choice to choose for himself what he wants. And if he cannot go deeper with you and you cannot go deeper with him, then there's a misalignment present. And you shouldn't be having sex at all, because you shouldn't have control or dominance over anyone's body. Just like your partner shouldn't have control or dominance over your own being, over your own goddess temple, over your own energy. It should be a mutual act every single time you make love.
What would you say to a person looking to start the journey of cosmic sexuality?
I would tell them to be ready for all of what the experience entails. When you come to the path of cosmic sexuality, it is a real path that will force you to look at the integration of your spiritual path with your sexual path. So if you're not ready for that integration, you will fight it along the way. You have to come with an open heart and just ready to be connected to the source within you, to go deep into this path and allow it to transform you. And there's many reasons why someone may want to practice cosmic sexuality. We get many testimonies. Someone just wants to become a better lover, but you have to understand what your intention is for this path. Those of you who are trying to align into your partnership right now, there's a process to self-progression for you to be at a place to be able to be ready for a partnership. People get into relationships and they haven't done the work, and they expect the other person to show up for them and help them unpack. It's not the other person's job or responsibility to help you unpack your own things, to help you unpack your trauma, all the things that you need to heal. That is your responsibility. When you sign up for these relationships, you wonder why it doesn't go anywhere, because you're trying to just get through all the shit, and you can't get to the juiciness and the fun stuff of the relationship because you're just dealing with your trauma. And it's not the other person's responsibility or job. That's not what they signed up for. It's your job. If you're ready for partnership for you, you have to do the work. You have to do the work to be ready. You have to be in alignment with the person that you're connecting with, because you cannot fake alignment. It's either there or it's not. But it has to be there to get to this higher level of experience, this source level of experience. Getting to this source level experience that's based in purity and love, right? In union. It's unification. So you really want to understand the alignment part of it. If the person that you're getting ready to engage with, are they ready as well? And not even just in the sense of have they mastered their cosmic semen retention, because that can be worked together towards, but are they just ready energetically, emotionally? Are they receiving you on such a deep level? When your partner receives you in this cosmic orgasmic alignment, it is such a deep experience. They're touching you beyond the body. They're touching you beyond any way that they can physically touch you. They are fully receiving all of your existence. So they have to be ready for that, and you have to know they're ready for that.
Can you tell us about cosmic sex shifting?
Cosmic sex shifting is a process that me and Victoria discovered through Cosmic Sexuality, and we documented it. And we turned it into a meme on Instagram, and it's basically gone viral so many times. And the meme has this artwork, and it describes through this artwork these words of the process. And I want to talk about it because we rarely get to talk about it. Cosmic sex shifting is when you take two people, and it possibly could be or more, right? You take two people making love, practicing cosmic sex. And the simplest way to explain this is the body is, from my perspective, the animal aspect. And then we have our soul spirit aspect, that is our energetic faculties, our consciousness and awareness. And when you're practicing cosmic sex, let's say going consistently for 20 minutes or more, no interruptions, no delays, no ejaculations, just consistent focus on cosmic sex practice, what begins to happen is simply phenomenal. These two people connecting in cosmic sexual practice, cycling energy, cosmic breathing, visualizing, they begin to go into a state of deep aligned connection. An autopilot state takes over where the two bodies simply remain as animal consciousness, and there's a split. And in that split, their spirit soul aspect is now in union making love. To further go deeper into this, the two bodies begin to go into an animal state of consciousness, because this is the first time we see the split. This is the first time we can see the energies making love. You can feel it. Both of you feel this deep heart pacing connection of energy. And at that same time, the bodies go into an animal state of consciousness. And what does this mean? Depending on who you are and your animal connection, it could be your partner's turning into a tiger or a bear or a snake, but it's the real thing. We've been in groups where we've seen individuals turn into snakes and start hissing and swirling. We've seen individuals shift. Their body takes on an animal characteristic, and their soul aspect is in deep cosmic connection. And it's such a phenomenal experience. This can be done independently as well. We go into deep inner cosmic sex practice. This is through deep awareness, cosmic breathing, focus. You will see that it can be done solo or with a partner. But it's one of the most incredible experiences we've seen because it shows us more of who we really are, that we are more than this body. We are greater than the animal aspect of us. And you get to really see your cosmic existence at play for the first time.
What does it mean to be a cosmic orgasmic man?
Ooh, I love this. A cosmic orgasmic man. I orgasm all the time, but I don't release semen. And it's almost understanding that you are one with your source energy, your orgasm, and your partner's orgasm. It means you are full and embodiment of the cosmic source energy within and around you. Being a cosmic orgasmic man, I am thoughtful about myself and my lover. I care about my energy. I care about my health. I care about my awareness. I care about my connections. We don't think about that. What am I connecting to? How responsible am I being? When you're a cosmic orgasmic man, you are making love from a place of deep intimacy and deep knowingness of your source connection, the divinity within and around you. And you're also looking at your partner as the same. You're revering them. You're honoring them. I honor my partner as goddess. And when I connect to her, I am bringing my alignment with me. I am not going to her expecting her to give me alignment. That's not possible. So when I'm in my own alignment with my source energy, I am then aligned with my cosmic orgasmic self. And this means I'm retaining semen on a very consistent level. This means I'm aware of what I'm connecting with all the time and who I'm connecting with. I'm very disciplined about the maintenance of my energy. And this doesn't just mean sexually. This is mentally, physically, energetically, spiritually. How am I spending my time? What am I consuming? What am I putting out? My affirmations. I am love. I am peace. I am worthy of the orgasm of my soul. I love myself. I forgive myself. Through my forgiveness, I forgive others. Being a cosmic orgasmic man is a huge responsibility to self. It is not about anyone else. When I see people take on that pressure, it doesn't work because you're not doing it for you yet. And if you're with someone and they're pressuring you to be better, you can think that's great, but you're not going to rise to that occasion because it's not you. You're not doing it for you. So whether they come or go, they're controlling that tide of energy. You have to say that me being a cosmic orgasmic man or individual or being is about my truth. It's about my highest. It's about my love. It's about my integrity. There is no word for integrity that implies outwards, right? There's no outegrity. Integrity is an inside job, and you really have to start with you on this path. I want to be able to always meet my lover and be there fully embodied in all of who I am. And know that I am fully connected to the source within me. Coming to her, and she's connected to the source in her. Then we come together and we meet in this source state of cosmic orgasmic alignment. And we do this over and over. And it's this most incredible soul, mind, body, energetic experience. Being a cosmic orgasmic man is the first time we're able to level the playing field. where the man is actually able to meet the goddess that is innately multi-orgasmic. Yes, as men, we can be multi-orgasmic too, and we are, but we have to rewire ourselves. Because if we're releasing semen all day and we're doing these regressive sex practices, we cannot experience that cosmic orgasmic nature where you're able to constantly go into this multi-orgasmic flow state and connect to your lover in these mind-blowing experiences. I invite you today, if you feel I am ready to be a cosmic orgasmic man, person, or being, that you watch this and you take the steps in your heart. We have books. If you need something to say, I just want to start here. We're sharing so much in this video. We have courses. It's about you sitting with yourself, being honest about who you are and who you really want to be.
Tell us about the mastery of semen retention.
The mastery of semen retention requires separating the ejaculation from the orgasm. When you orgasm, you do not have to connect that to ejaculating semen. They're not really connected. You can orgasm as an individual and not release any semen. I do it all the time. If me and Victoria make love, let's say 4 to 5 times a week, I don't release any semen in those weeks. Generally, it'll be like after a 2-week, 3-week period, I might release once after 15 sex sessions. It's important to understand this because very often when we say I orgasm, we think my ejaculation is orgasm, and they're very separate experiences. The orgasm and the ejaculation honestly have not much in common. We're used to combining them and thinking when I ejaculate, oh, I orgasm, but that's not the truth. The orgasm is the energy alignment of our soul. It's our energy alignment of us and our source connection. It's the energy alignment of us and all things. That is his own experience, and it can happen inside of sex and outside of sex. Ejaculation, on the other hand, is simply a release of our sexual fluid and life force, which that release then enters into another and can create life. It's important to understand that these two things aren't connected, and you can orgasm without ejaculating any semen. Yes, as a man or an individual retaining semen or that can release semen, you can orgasm, full-blown orgasm, cosmic orgasm, the alignment of your soul, sexual orgasm, the same feeling. You can ejaculate where it's not about semen going into you, but it's about energy being into you. It's about the energy that you are being so overwhelming that it explodes and it's inward instead of an outward release and push out. And it's important to understand this. The mastery requires dedication, devotion, awareness. If you are currently practicing any regressive sex practices, masturbation, porn, releasing semen frequently, sex with random partners, you could be taking massive tolls on your energy and not even know it. The way you would need to know what's going on is to sit with yourself in stillness and think about your sexual habits, I would say for the past 14 to 30 days. Think about how much you're masturbating. Think about how many times you release semen. Write these things down. Think about how many sexual partners you've had. And think about how much porn you might be watching. And if you write all this data down, I'm going to give you some small metrics that can help. So let's say in a month where most people are releasing semen every time they make love or have sex, you do not need to release semen every time you have sex. That's a terrible misconception. The releasing of semen at best, it can help if there's a massive amount of tension, but really what the whole purpose is to create life. And because you can go to sleep if you're filled with energy, and let's say if you have a lot of semen retained, you can go to sleep and have a nocturnal emission, aka a wet dream. And you will then release that semen in your sleep. And you will have some sort of sexual dream to support this. Our body knows how to protect us. Our body has the ability to say you have a lot of energy built up. When you go to rest and you're relaxed, this semen can go out. And it can go out easily. The most important thing about understanding the mastery of cosmic semen retention and the path of it is having your own dedication and devotion to your highest within you. You have to want to be ready for this path. You have to want to be ready to live a life that's inspiring and exciting and filled with energy. You won't realize where these depressions are coming from and these tough moments in life till you sit down and look at the practices you are doing in your everyday life with your energy and your sexuality. With that said, there is a way to begin to circulate your energy and move it around, and we teach this where you don't feel so overwhelmed with retaining semen. If I've been releasing semen every time I've made love my whole life, I am depleted, I am compromised, I am drained. And that is something you wouldn't even begin to connect to all the problems you have in your life, but they're coming from a root place. And the second you begin to store your energies, reserve your sacred seed, your life force, your semen energy, you start to feel a flowering up from the ground up. You start to feel your whole world erupt with this big, beautiful energy. Then you have to calibrate that energy. Love, meditation, affirmations, worthiness, focusing on your healing. There's so much that goes into the mastery of semen retention. As someone that's been practicing for a long time, I get the disconnect in the conversation. It's still jokes about it and everyone wants to make fun of it, but no one's thinking, why are we conditioned this way? Why has pornography constantly showed us images over and over of semen flying out of a body and onto a person? And why have we sexualized this whole release of semen, but we never thought about what's happening to us and why we've been conditioned this way? A man has very low will when he does not have retention of his energy and semen. He is in a weak place and he is very compromised. And if he doesn't realize that, he's making choices from his lowest self constantly. He can't be faithful to a woman or a man. He can't be faithful to a partner. He can't be faithful to anything, even his work. He can't be committed and dedicated. He doesn't have the energy to sustain himself. So it's just very important when you think about taking this path of cosmic sexuality, cosmic semen retention, you be very gentle with yourself in the beginning and think, I'm healing. I'm just going to begin to retain energy one day at a time. I'm going to begin to stop masturbating one day at a time. I'm going to begin to stop watching porn 1 hour at a time. I literally just realized that I just didn't feel right about it anymore. Every time I released semen, I immediately felt this drop of energy. The more aware I became of myself, the more aware I could become of my energy. And the moment I start to rethink this whole thing and feel that I need to just have the discipline, one day at a time, my life changed. It became weeks, and then it became months, and then it became, I don't need to be releasing this energy. And I'm waking up supercharged. I'm going to bed supercharged. I'm connecting with a lover, and they're going, this is before Victoria. I've never felt energy like this in my body before. Who are you? What's going on? I had to rediscover who I was. And this all happened by just taking a step back and learning how to not waste my semen, learning how to retain it. And we explain it on the course many ways that we have. But I want to say this because sometimes people are looking for this one answer. They go, how do I retain my semen? And they go, what do you have that's different from what's out there? And I go, mastery. I not only retain semen in my life, I make love to my wife and I'm able to retain semen. And she has orgasms and we're able to retain semen. We orgasm together. And orgasm and ejaculation are very separate topics. So one day after working out and exercising, I realized that I felt really drained. And I wanted to get to the bottom of what was different because prior to this intense physical activity, I was meditating a lot and I was celibate and I was not having sex. I began having sex and releasing semen unconsciously, something I didn't think about that could harm me. And as I'm releasing semen, working out, spending all this energy, one day I just realized I didn't feel as charged as I normally felt when I was spiritually focused and celibate, retaining my energy. And I broke down in tears. I basically felt very weak. I felt very, I want to say mortal. I know that sounds crazy, but I just felt very fragile, weak, and I was physically strong. I was really close to this six-pack body. I was really close to these abs and muscles, and I was just going for this goal. And I sat on the edge of my bed, and I began to meditate and pray. And I'm crying. I just felt weak, and I was like, will I ever feel spiritually charged again? And in this moment, it was almost like a diagram that appeared in meditation. It was basically the body, and it was like these energy grids. Inside of me, it felt like my spirit was talking to me and explaining how energy works. And it was saying you have one source energy. You have this one energy space within you, and you've been dividing it up and focusing it in very poor ways. Meaning that I was trying to build this super body so much, and I'm releasing semen, that I'm taking all of this source energy and focus it into the body versus using the body to focus my energy. I immediately rejected it, to be honest. It sounded great. It felt like it would ease my pain and bring me to a higher point, but I had no proof of this knowledge. I've never heard anything like it before. This immediately made me think, well, all I can do is try to operate from a different space of energy. Literally, from this day forth, I said, I'm going to focus all my energy spiritually and not physically. I'm going to literally just shift my focus of energy. I'm not going to release so much energy. I'm not going to expend the body as much. And all I can say is my life changed dramatically from this moment. It was small, it was gradual, but I started to minimize the focus of working out so intensely. I started to figure out, was there a way I can cultivate my energy literally in time, what we would begin to know, myself and Victoria, would be cosmic sexuality. And our practices, my energy field grew tremendously. I began to feel how I felt when I was charged for meditation. I began to feel my aura come through strong. I began to feel my spiritual healing energies come back clearer. All of my consciousness started to kick back in. And it was so alarming that I never went back in another direction. This became my life. This is the life I live. When I say dedication and devotion, it's the path of cosmic sexuality. It's not about just sex. Everything's about sex. Everything's about energy. You have to want to retain the best of you. Have you sat down and sat with your own energy and really ask yourself, do I feel like the best me? Do I feel charged? Do I feel energized? Do I feel powerful? Am I connecting with myself? Am I connecting with my lover? You have to ask these tough questions and see what comes up, and then decide, is there more I could be doing with my energy? And this is the beauty of retaining energy. This is not even touching on the semen retention itself. This is just saying, am I aware of my energy and my relationship to it, and how much of my energy do I keep and not just let leak out into the world? And you can figure this all out within the practice of cosmic sexuality. Myself and Victoria have outlined this thoroughly through our books, courses, and materials, so that anyone can learn how to begin to look at their energy differently and operate from a space of wholeness and completion. This is basically about the power of clarity. The clearer we get, everything starts to show it. It comes through in our work. It comes through in our energy. But keeping that energy on. We're going to activate this energy. You never turn off. You were never not activated. You were always activated. You're being told no, and you're not this, and you're this. You've been conditioned into a certain way because of I can't, and I don't think I can, and you're not good enough. You're repelled your whole life. So if I'm to get you into a place of this understanding of cosmic alignment, where others think doesn't even exist, and I live in it, others live in it, it's yours. It's a birthright, but you must go in and turn on those switches again and say, it's okay, it's safe for me to want, it's safe for me to play, it's safe for me to be me. Just feel that feeling like it's so safe for me to be me. That everything I want to channel out into the world, I am trusting myself and my source to do it in such a beautiful, responsible way.
I am Danielle Bolton. I am the Illuminatrix. I live on the big island of Hawaii. I am a mentor for people expanding consciousness through plant and psychedelic medicine.
How did you find Cosmic Sexuality?
I found Victoria and Shalom first. Their energy just pulled me in through the interwebs, and I had been kind of circling around with them for a little while first, checking them out, checking out what they were doing, and of course, Cosmic Sexuality. Who wouldn't be interested hearing something like that? And just following their work, wanting to get to know more about them. I truly wanted to be in their energy. I have a great fascination with couples and people who are in union, doing things together and creating things in the world. And so I wanted to see what they were doing and what they were into. And when I had the opportunity to come to Cosmic Sexuality Retreat last summer, I knew that I had to be there.
What was your experience with orgasms before Cosmic Sexuality?
My experience with orgasm started at a somewhat young age, like I imagine most of ours do. Definitely attached to secrecy and a little bit of fear and a little bit of taboo. I think those were the first emotions that were really ingrained in me around orgasm, even though I knew it was something that felt good. And growing up, I kind of carried that. And when I first started experimenting with actual sex and partnership, orgasm kind of went out the window, if you will. It wasn't really something that I understood. It wasn't something that I was focusing on too much within partnership until I I found a really great partner that introduced me to understanding my own physical orgasm a little bit more, and so much opened up for me. And through the years, my orgasm, it developed. I learned that my orgasm was really powerful by myself in my own practices. Really have enjoyed exploring multi-orgasmic state, bringing my own self in my own place and my own time to multiple orgasms, and feeling incredible connection with partners, so many beautiful lovers throughout the years. And I would say that orgasm has been very fulfilling for me in many ways, and yet there's been a part of me who just always felt like there was more for me with the orgasm. And because I love love and lovers and union, I find myself often really desiring a bigger, more beautiful, more connected, more powerful orgasm within partnership. And that's something that I'm still looking for in ways in my life. That's a connection and a experience that I'm still desiring, that I still want to explore. And that's been my kind of experience in totality, fulfillment, yet desiring more when it comes to the physical orgasm. And now I am stepping into a new territory with the experience of cosmic orgasm.
You share your experience of experiencing the cosmic orgasm from the guidance at the retreat done by Victoria and Shalom?
Yes, absolutely. When I made the decision to go to the Cosmic Sexuality retreat last summer, I knew that it was a pivotal decision. And my driving force was to be with Shalom and Victoria in person. I wanted to be around a very powerful, in tune couple that was doing really beautiful things for the world. That's my biggest dream for myself, to be in union with someone and be creating on the ultimate level together in a way that serves people. And that's what led me to go to the retreat. I had no idea what to expect. I literally went into it completely blind. I didn't know anybody in the community. I went alone. I had no idea if there was going to be men there, women, couples, my future partner. I just had so much excitement, and it had been a long time since I was entering into somebody else's space. I find myself in the position to be guiding or leading or hosting. So it felt really, really exciting to go receive this experience with them. And when I arrived, it was beautiful. The people that I met, it was a small, intimate group of very interesting people. There were some couples there, some single women there. And the experience began from the moment I met Shalom and Victoria. I felt the energy. I knew I was there for something big. I knew that I was there for a new moment, a new level, a new type of alignment for my life. And some of the things that stood out for me the most was, it was exciting to be in the space and have no idea what was going to happen. I understood some of the foundations of cosmic sexuality. I had read some of the books. I had been following their work for a while, but I was still in the unknown. And I think for me, being in the space of just available to whatever was going to happen for me there is probably what made the experience so profound. I think sometimes, especially people who are on their path of spiritual development, self-enlightenment, we're always trying to understand, we're always trying to figure things out. And this experience allowed me to really be in the receivership position, to just go and take a look at and be available for what source was going to channel through all of us and myself as an individual. And I had a great time with the clearings that we did, the other aspects of cosmic sexuality, and it felt very real for me. I was able to drop very deeply into the meditations, all of the particular parts of the cosmic sexuality process. It all felt like it was leading me up to the ultimate moment of being arrived at where I wanted to go next. And so the day that we actually had one of our workshops and we were preparing to go through the breathing exercises for the cosmic orgasmic, procedure or experience, I literally thought we were going to just be doing some guided meditation with some breathing. We were in a hotel conference room at a table, fully clothed, and Victoria began to lead us, and it was gentle. Everyone had their eyes closed. We were breathing, we were focusing. They invited us to bring our guides in, and I have a very beautiful, strong connection with my own personal guides, and my guides were very excited to be in the space, and everyone just was breathing and there for the experience, and I started to feel energy in my body. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect, so I was just fully present with it. I had zero attachment to it. I just allowed the energy to be with me in my body. And as Victoria calmly guided us through the meditation, through the body, I felt the energy growing. And it was stimulating. It was sensual, yet not sexual, yet a sexual energy, but it felt very appropriate and very meant to be in the moment. I wasn't afraid of it. It felt like it was supposed to be happening. And as the energy began to build, I just felt a lot of bliss in my body. I felt a very gentle warmth in my body. I didn't feel any fear. I didn't feel any shame. Maybe for a moment's thought, I considered my surroundings, being in a room, but I knew that I was safe. I knew I was protected. I knew that that's why all of us were there. And I felt like I could have whatever experience was coming for me. And so it turned into what felt like waves on my body. Again, it was so gentle. It was so beautiful. And it felt so incredibly big beyond me. It felt like there was a presence, like a godlike presence, universal presence, the community that I was surrounded, Shalom and Victoria's presence, their energy. And it felt like it was taking me somewhere. And it didn't feel like a traditional peak of a sexually stimulated orgasm. It just felt like it had this power to grow me and to expand me and to connect me with something. And when you're having a physical sexual orgasm from stimulation, there's this peak and there's this moment where time stands still, but the energy is very focused because it's so much in our bodies. And this definitely had that feeling of time standing still, but it felt like an infinite realm, that it was just everything available to me. I felt so incredibly powerful while sitting there doing absolutely nothing except for receiving what was meant for me. And that, for me as a woman, to be fully in my feminine energy and to feel that blessing and that bliss and that alignment with everything that was possible, was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. And I was so happy. I'm always trying so hard in my life to understand myself, to do the best that I can, to evolve myself, to grow myself. And I often, like many people, think that there's so many things that I have to do to make the experiences happen. And that was one of the strongest moments for me, where I felt just held, supported, and just really so good. I felt so good. And so I just wrote it out, and it felt like bliss. It felt like sexual union with the divine. It felt like the moment for me. I felt energy off in the distance. I felt what it felt like to feel the energy of the person who was meant to be in alignment with me. I felt his energy very, very far in the distance. I felt so much peace in my heart. As a woman, I long at times for my partner, for the person that is meant to experience divine union with me and alignment with me. And I felt him, and I felt the energy, and I felt so much peace. And then when it was time to open our eyes, I looked around the room, and it felt like everyone was just watching me. And I have no idea if that's what was really happening, but I just looked at everybody's faces, and everyone was so peaceful. And there were tears in some people's eyes. And I was so grateful that I got to experience that, and so grateful that I got to share that with everyone else, because it felt like it was a co-creation of energy. It felt unified, even though the experiences was channeling through me and I was the one who was in the center of that moment. It felt like I was able to also share that energy with everyone else, which I know was very healing and inspiring for the other people that were there. And that's what I'm in service to as a human, expanding consciousness and helping people to understand what's possible. And in that moment, it felt like if I can, everyone can. And I was so pleased that I could. It was beautiful. After those few moments of being there in that space, I felt like I was at peace. I felt like I understood the next path for myself. I felt like I had a lot of my questions answered. I did wonder how I would experience that again. I did wonder what was next. My mind immediately went to the place of like, okay, how do I do this again? What do I do? How do I figure this out? And what I've learned in the months since then with my other experiences of cosmic orgasm, I've been blessed to have a few more cosmic orgasms in my own space and time with my own self. And what I've learned each time is it's not really about doing anything. It's not really about having to have something a certain way, having to be positioned a certain way, or having to know exactly how to do it. It's, in my understanding, it's about an energy alignment with yourself. I understand that it really comes from yourself as an individual first. And so when I'm practicing, when I take the time to do meditation, when I take the time to really be with myself, when I take the time to notice my excitement and realize that I'm turned on to my own potential, that's when it happens for me. And so far up to this point, my experience has been a solo experience, other than the room at the Cosmic Sexuality retreat. But it's a solo experience, and I'm very happy there. I'm very happy to be cultivating that energy individually for myself, because I understand what it takes to be in union, to share this in union, which is, not the end goal, but being able to experience cosmic orgasmic bliss with a partner. I see that as like the ultimate opening of consciousness, like double black diamond style of consciousness awakening with partner. And I just feel excited knowing that I'm going to get to experience that someday with someone. And in the meantime, as a single woman, I get to experience that now with myself as well. While I was at the retreat, I had the honor of having a one-to-one session with Victoria and Shalom. And I went into the session wanting some answers. I wanted to understand the part of myself that felt blocked from aligning with the relationship that I feel that I desire, that I feel that I'm worthy of, that I feel that I deserve. And Shalom said something to me in the session that was so simple, but completely pivotal for my entire life. And what he said to me was that if it's mutual, it's an alignment. It's only an alignment if it's mutual. And that sounds like a really simple thing to say. It sounds like something that many of us have pondered and understand on some level. I myself have understood that on some level. But hearing that in that moment flipped a switch for me. And I started really thinking about all of the times that I resist, all of the times that I force, all the times that I keep trying, all of the times that I try to place myself in things or situations or relationships that don't feel quite right. And as somebody who is devoted to self-development, I have a strong drive to figure things out. I have a strong drive to do my best and to see things through and to look at things from a lot of different perspectives. And I just started thinking about the simplicity of the idea of if something's mutual. And the way that I understand that simply is, does what you want you? Does where you're trying to put your energy match the energy that is trying to be put back into you? I broke through to an incredible clarity with that. And I've been allowing that to guide my life ever since. And it's changed my life in many ways, in many areas. And for me at the retreat, I decided in that moment that I was going to honor myself, and I was only going to give my attention to being able to receive what felt mutual to me. That felt like a big, big lean in to trust for me, especially somebody very in tune with my masculine energy, very able to create, to make things happen, to materialize pretty much anything that I desire. To agree to go into that space was big for me, but I wanted to fully ignite it at the retreat. And so this conversation happened before my cosmic orgasmic experience, and where I got to experience the feeling of mutuality for that first moment was within the cosmic orgasm. There was a moment when I was experiencing it and my body was getting hot and the energy was rolling, and I'm in a room at a table with strangers essentially, and I had a moment of question, like, is this okay? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I knew that it was in alignment for me because it was happening for me. It was coming to me. I wasn't asking for it. I wasn't chasing it. I wasn't trying. I was just breathing and allowing the mutuality to happen because it was in alignment. And that was the hugest lesson for me in everything. It will happen for you if it's in alignment. And that, I think, is what allowed me to give into it, to receive it, to be in the pleasure of it, to have it happen in that space. And I'm so grateful I learned that in that moment. And that idea of mutuality has been guiding me ever since. It's helped me in a lot of ways, and it's challenged me in a lot of ways. Choosing to be on this path now with devotion to cosmic sexuality, to myself, and to align in partnership that shares a cosmic sexuality union, it's a decision to honor your alignment. And the truth is, I so often did not honor my alignment. And when you honor your alignment, you set a standard for yourself. You set an expectation for yourself. And when we set standards and expectations, that's what the energy has to rise to meet you. That's how energy works. And I will say honestly that in moments it feels tempting to go out of alignment. It feels tempting to lower standards. It feels tempting to try something out or let something in. But the truth is that energy does not lie when it comes to mutuality. You cannot trick energy. You cannot fake energy. You cannot force it. Mutuality is the energetic connection. It's the exchange. It's the connecting point. And if it doesn't connect, if it's not mutual, it's not an alignment. And alignment is everything. I think one of the things that allowed me to truly feel safe in the room, to receive that cosmic orgasmic experience live and in person, was the masculine energy in the room. And I understand masculine energy lives within myself. We all have masculine energy. I understand the masculine energy from the mortal man, and I understand cosmic masculine energy from Source, God, the divine. And I think being in the room with a strong presence of my own energy, clearly divine source energy, but having the mortal man masculine energy in the room with the other gentlemen that were there and Shalom, there was a counterpart that felt supportive to me, even though I wasn't there with anyone, I wasn't partnered up with anyone, because everybody was in the space with the same intention, in support of each other, and, you know, working our energy together ultimately for the same vibration and the same idea and goal. I felt supported by the mortal masculine energy. And that for me is something that is missing a lot in my life, since I'm not in partnership and I'm doing this on my own, and I develop my own relationship with myself and with God. But having that energy in the room, I was able to be part of it respectfully. I was able to kind of lock into, loop into, be part of, share the wavelength, if you will, of the energy. And with that, I felt so powerful, because I know within myself, when those energies, my feminine and masculine energies, are balanced, I'm powerful. And to have that support in the room, it just felt like this extra like boost for me, where I could fly even higher if I wanted to. And I remember feeling that immediately after the experience, and I felt a little shy about it, because, you know, it's a room full of energy, right? And some of us know how to connect in with other people's energy and feel other people's energy, and, you know, you always want to be respectful of that. But I was so grateful that everyone was in the room and so available, so that I could be part of it. It was amazing.
Give us one word to describe cosmic sexuality.
The one word that I would give to describe cosmic sexuality is surrender. The word surrender itself has many components built into it. It has trust built into it. It has release built into it. It has expansion built into it. Every time that we're going through a transformation on our path, whether it's physically, whether it's spiritually, you are surrendering to that moment of change. You must go deep into it and trust that moment to get to your next moment. And if you're unable to go deep into that moment and to surrender any beliefs, any limitations, you cannot expand into the next moment. And we're always constantly surrendering to things. And when we look at it from the perspective of, I'm not submitting to this, I'm not being forced into this moment, but instead I'm surrendering into it so I can go into the next. But when we try to force it against it, that's the difference between surrender and submission. You always want to be in this place of unfolding to go into your highest, and that requires very deep surrendering and trust to the source within you. And when you come to the practice of cosmic sexuality, you're releasing all of your previous limitations to go into this embodied state with yourself and your lover. And that involves surrendering to each other, surrendering to yourself, surrendering to your heart, surrendering to your mind, to be able to come to this place together in union and oneness.
What is a cosmic orgasm like for you?
The first time I had a cosmic orgasm, it was an experience that I was coming into alignment with. It was an activation. It was a portal that I was moving through to go deeper into myself in connection with my partner, Shalom. But now the cosmic orgasm has changed for me and blossomed for me. And every time I have a cosmic orgasm now, it's a reminder of the deepness and the vastness of all of myself. And it's an expansion of the cosmic energy. It's every time I have this cosmic orgasmic alignment, I'm going deeper into the seat of my soul, into my pleasure, into my bliss, into my knowing, into my divinity, into my goddess self, into my goddesshood, into my priestesshood. So it has become this thing that I understand so deeply as my birthright, because it's unfolding every layer of me every time I go deeper into this experience. So the cosmic orgasm is an activation into who you are as goddess. It is an activation into the full alignment of self with source and a lover. And of course, the orgasmic experience will always start with you. So whenever I have this moment of cosmic orgasmic alignment, the energy, it slows down time when you're in this space with your lover. And this is important because when you're slowing down time, the encoding that's happening there is so deep that it sees something so far in the future of your path that you don't even realize at that moment. But it's unfolding you, it's blossoming you. Even when you think about a flower blooming, that flower doesn't bloom right away. It starts to open and becomes more and more unwound until you see the fullness of the flower. And that is what the cosmic orgasmic alignment does. That is what the cosmic orgasm does for each and every woman. It's unflowering you and unfolding you into this deep space of divinity with yourself, with source, and with your lover. And the experience itself was so hard for me to put into words for so long, because I had to understand what actually was happening. And because it is beyond the body, it's not something that you can quantify with the mind. It's not like a local orgasm where you go, oh, I felt my pleasure. I want to play around with that energy and see how far I can go into that, because that's very local and fleeting. But when you have this cosmic orgasm, it shakes everything inside of you. It moves everything inside of you. You're literally moving your own life force energy and you're expanding it. Just like how the physical body changes, our inner being changes as well. We are going from the physical body to this energetic existence. And how do we get there? We get there by focusing inward, by growing that aspect of our body, so that when we do leave the body, that we've spent time focusing inward, where we have this new energetic fabric when we go beyond here that you don't forget, that remains with you. And that's what you're connecting to in the cosmic orgasm. In that moment, you're connecting to that existence. You're tethered here in the moment with your lover, but you're also with the cosmos, you're with source, you're with all of yourselves, your higher selves, you're with every aspect of your being. And it's just such a pure moment of just being present and receiving and unfolding.
So what does it mean to live a cosmic orgasmic life?
This is a big question, but The first thing I would say to put into words is living so deeply in the seat of your pleasure and your bliss that you don't want anything in your world, in your life, anything that's less than mutual. When you get to a place on your path, this always comes up as this internal checker within yourself of, am I being authentic to myself? Am I being authentic to my path? And if you're being real with yourself, there's something that's going to come up that goes, this could be more in alignment with yourself. You could be in more tune with this aspect of yourself. And what happens when this comes up is we get afraid and we run from it. And so we count ourselves as not worthy of our pleasure because there's this one thing that we believe keeps us outside of it. So what would just simply happen if we just said, I am worthy, and my worthiness brings me deep into my alignment? When I understand that I am worthy, I understand that everything that I'm seeking is in my worthiness. It's deep within my worthiness. So I'm going to trust this moment to go deeper into that worthiness, to say that I can connect with all of these aspects of myself, no matter what shows up. And I can then honor them all as such and say, I'm going to bring this into one space, one moment. And that involves you being in tune very deeply with what it is that you want to experience. So the more honest that we become with where we are existing from in that moment, we can go deeper into what it is that we prefer. And you have to say that I am worthy of this moment. I trust this moment, and trusting this moment, I trust myself to expand. And if I'm trusting myself to expand, then Source will meet me. If Source is meeting me, then my partner will meet me. My lover will meet me there. I'm worthy of my love. My partner's worthy of my love. We're worthy of being mutual in this experience together. I'm worthy of feeling my pleasure, my bliss. I'm worthy of all of these things that I came here to experience. I'm not going to compartmentalize myself because in one moment I don't feel worthy of something. And when you bring it all together and to say, no, this is who I am, I honor this, my energy is one, I'm going to experience life from the seat of my soul. That is orgasmic, that is pleasure, that is beautiful because you feel all of your existence. You're not saying I'm limiting myself or cutting myself off from anything, but I'm going to choose pleasure in each moment, and I'm going to go very deeply into it to say that this is something that I know I am worthy of receiving.
The cosmic orgasm for me is deep alignment with source energy, all that is. God is everything in existence, the most highest of high, El Elyon. It is nothing like it I've ever experienced. A lot of people try to compare it to like a full body orgasm. And we always explain that if someone's having a full body orgasm, and they're shaking and convulsing, the person next to you necessarily or your partner doesn't experience that with you. That is your thing happening, and that's valid. But the cosmic orgasm is always an experience that you and whoever's around will experience it at that moment. It is a massive alignment, and it is something that is our birthright. It is not like anything else. For me, the cosmic orgasm changed my life because as a man, I didn't know I can orgasm separate from ejaculation. I didn't know that ejaculation was not the orgasm. So being able to experience this orgasm, like my partner, like Victoria, where I'm shaking and convulsing and I'm coming into this deep ejaculation of massive alignment, energy, and bliss, and divinity, and pleasure, and sensuality, and sexuality. It rewrote everything in my life from an experience of what's real, what is sustainable, what is constant. And we have the cosmic orgasmic alignment all the time. This isn't something you have once a year, like Christmas, and you wake up in the morning and it can be every day, it's all day. It is your life. It is how you live. It is how you approach everything. It is how you be. And there is no time limit. Our cosmic orgasmic alignments can occur sometimes in literally, I laugh at Victoria, 48 seconds. It can be 10 minutes. And there's no time frame to reach alignment. And that's why it's so beautiful to me. You know, like when you masturbate, there's like this routine, right? I used to masturbate, so there's a routine. And let's say you're masturbating and you know I can get this done in 3 minutes. I'm about to go meet my friends, right? Whatever. With cosmic orgasm is different from that. You don't go 5 minutes and I'm gonna have an orgasm. You get there, you get into your cosmic sex practice, you get into deep alignment, and then it either will happen or you're not in alignment. And if you're in alignment, it can happen in the next 30 seconds, it can happen in the next 5 minutes. There's no way to gauge it, but it's always the same way back. The cosmic orgasm for me is life. It is saying that God and Goddess exists. Love exists. There is a source energy. There is a force that exists that we are directly connected to that creates the world around us. And the cosmic orgasm is returning home to that connection.
Can you give us one word to describe cosmic sexuality?
I'm often asked what's the difference between cosmic sexuality and other practices. The one word that generally comes up outside of alignment is mutuality, mutual. There are so many great sexual practices, and I love them all. But when we talk about deep intimacy, connection, and sexuality, mutuality has to be there. I always say, especially as a man, divine masculine embodiment, I do not make love to myself. I have to include, along with myself and my alignment, my partner and her alignment. And we must come together. Without mutuality, that's simply not possible. So whenever I'm talking to someone and I'm explaining to them the path of cosmic sexuality, I say, talk about whatever you feel right now about sexuality and become a witness to how much it is not mutual. This, it's my pleasure, which is important. My love, what I want, my needs, all important and valid. But until we're ready to go from self-pleasure to mutual pleasure, we won't understand the growth of our intimacy and our sexual connection. We must evolve. And the one word that will help that evolution occur is mutuality. The more mutual we become in our alignments, our connections, our worthiness, we will expand into such cosmic grace and love and sexuality beyond our wildest measure. I invite you today to take a walk into your mutuality. Start with you and start with your essence, your being, and think, what's in alignment for me? What do I want to connect with? Does what I want to connect with wants to connect with me? And once you can answer that question and find what's really meant for you, you will experience mutuality and the orgasm of your soul in all ways possible.
Tell us about the goddess and cosmic sexuality.
I always say that my journey early on with religion was about God and this masculine presence that I was introduced to through religion, which is what it is. But when I reached deep meditation and inner work, I was introduced to the goddess. And that changed my entire life and path. The goddess energy was the most tangible experience I ever had of divine energy, where the God was something I prayed to and you worship and you talk about, but you don't know it. You don't know that this God presence is really in you or how it connects. But when I got to meditation, I was not only able to connect to God, but I was also able to connect to the goddess within. And I call that all source energy. That's all energy. There's no separation there. When I talk about the goddess so much, it has nothing to do with a current trend or what's popular. My experience with goddess is real. Before encountering Victoria on Earth, my whole work was done in this inner way. I will come from deep, profound meditations, and I would experience massive surge of energies within and around me. And it was so beautiful, sensual, and loving. And the more I went deeper into this cosmic energy within me, the more I connected with this goddess energy. From this point forward, when I would meet a woman, I would be able to tell the embodiment of goddess that they were able to tap into because I had such a deep connection. This intrigued me. I was able to see the goddess in all things. And it became this beautiful awakening process to how to reconnect with a woman in my life and love. And Victoria is like that embodiment of goddess as well. She fiercely embodies this true spirit of goddess, crossing these deep doorways and bridges constantly of her own expansion and cosmic orgasmic nature is so beautiful, and I love that. And that's one with me. So this goddess connection is not separate from anyone. The God and goddess is within us all. And it's up to us to merge these energies and be one with them. And I have an excerpt from Return of the Ancient Lover that I wrote called How to Make Love to the Goddess, and it became so popular. And it was basically talking about honoring the woman beyond her body, getting in contact with her soul, getting in contact with her spirit essence, not sexualizing her, but realizing her and understanding that she is more than her body and more than her beauty, but she is. And in that isness, everything exists. If you can find that within you, you can find her within you.
Can you talk about purifying the sexual mind?
Purifying my sexual mind was one of the most important steps I took in my journey of cosmic love and sexuality. Purifying the sexual mind requires you to allow yourself to let go of all of the lustful, disconnected ways you see people, sex, connection, pleasure. And this is without judgment. This is just being straightforward, honest with yourself. Do I see myself as another, as an existence of divinity, or do I see you as this physical vehicle of just pleasure? Because pleasure exists beyond the physical. When you feel pleasure, it can be through sensory, through food, through kiss, through touch. And although you think these things are physical, they're byproducts of sensations going off and deep sensory happening all in your being. And that's cosmic. The sun hits your face. There's nothing physically really happening in that moment. There's energetics, there's cosmic aspects, there's celestial aspects, but there's not a physical sun coming to you and tapping you with this fire. It's different. And that pleasure you're feeling is deep within you. So when you're purifying the sexual mind, you have to go into a deep meditative state and become aware of how you interact and exist on a sexual level. How do you connect to your pleasure? And once you realize that the way you might connect to your pleasure is a bit disconnective, meaning it's not as pure as it can be, you need so many things to trigger you, to bring you out. You realize that you want to strip away all of those things you think turn you on and find who you really are and what really connects you to your pleasure and intimacy. We have a quote from Return of the Ancient Lover, and I'm going to roughly quote it here because it's not in front of me, but it's, the more you seek outside sexual stimulation, the less connected you are within. Meaning that you should be able to connect to your sexuality from your own place, from your own seat of your own soul. You don't need an external stimulation to do that. That's something you've been taught, but it leaves you powerless and it gives that thing all the power. So if I'm masturbating and I'm watching pornography, I'm now connecting to two other people making love. It's a very disconnected experience for me. I'm not in that room. It's on a screen. And I'm making love to myself while they make love. What kind of connection is that? Yes, it's possible, but think about the wateriness. Now, if you can sit with yourself and find that pleasure from a deep space of loving yourself and feeling your own sexual energy, that's 10 times bigger than that scenario I just mentioned. So when you go into your sexual experience, you want to know, did I purify my sexual mind and heart? Am I able to sit before my lover in all of her grace, in all of her nudity, with her body, and be beyond that in that moment, but be with her or with him? Are you able to reach so deeply into you that you go into source energy and then find them, and they reach so deeply inside of themselves, go into source energy and find you. And then you go into your sexuality together with source energy. This is cosmic sexuality. This is cosmic orgasmic alignment. This is what happens when you purify the sexual mind.
Can you tell us the difference between making love from your soul as a divine master and just making love with your body?
Sexuality in the physical sense is the very last layer. In society, physical touch, kissing, foreplay, sex is first. This is usually what people consider to be a sexual experience. In cosmic sexuality, sex, physical touch, foreplay, kissing is last. There's a bunch of stages before that. And this is the first time you can understand that sexuality is about a deeper alignment and connection to energy first versus connecting to the physical first. Most people walk around and they think, is the sex gonna be good? Or is their sex good? Is this good? Is that good? And they're not thinking, am I well connected? Is my connection good? And I'm not just talking about a friend connecting or a friend connection or I love you connection. I'm talking about the energy connection, the soul connection. Because when you're really connected to a deep cosmic fire, we call it the cosmic fever. And this cosmic fever really shows up big after cosmic orgasmic alignment. It's always been there. That small flame has continued to grow time and time again. And as you both come deeper and you don't put this flame out, you keep this flame burning, you reach this massive dynamic in your connective and sexual journey. So the way I want to put all this in perspective right now, when you are going to connect with your lover, and then the first thing you're doing is touching them, you're going to be cold. I don't care how hot you think you are. Because really to warm each other up requires layers of work. We would recommend you go into mutual breathing. We would recommend you sit in mutual meditation together and connect there. Then from there, there's so many other things you can do in our cosmic sex practice. One of those things being chakra aligning. You would sit together and align all of your energy centers, okay? From there, you would keep going. You would eye gaze. You will look into the windows of each other's soul. This is the first time you penetrate your lover. It is not physical. That when you eye gaze, it's the first time you both open up these portals and you allow each other to connect in a physical body, spiritual way, because the eyes are windows. And then from there, we would suggest sensual touch. And in this sensual touch, you will begin to touch each other, but without touching. You will feel what it's like to connect with each other without actually touching each other. You will basically stop right at the field of energy that hovers around you both. Then from there, you will begin to move towards actual gentle touch with permissions and communication of love. This is giving you a glimpse of how much you can make love before you actually touch someone you're trying to connect with. Physical touch is the last aspect in cosmic sexuality. You have so much more to learn about yourself and your lover before you cross that bridge. And being an embodied lover means activating yourself first before you go to activate with another. And this shows responsibility, accountability, and care. All of these steps will make you an embodied cosmic lover, and it will change the way you see connection with your partner. You know, it's interesting the other day talking about the orgasm, cosmic sexuality, and the question arising of performance.
Mm.
And shooting this project, I know we both experienced, it was difficult to share our sacred process on camera.
Yes.
And it made me realize how much performance is not included in sacredness.
Yeah.
The cosmic sexual practice is so sacred that performance was not an option. To go on camera and share the cosmic orgasmic experience presented a lot of challenges because the kind of focus we use
Is our whole presence.
is our whole presence.
Yeah.
So focusing on yourself, your source connection within, your lover, focusing on their connection within and their self. It's clear enough that the cosmic orgasm and cosmic sexuality is beyond any idea of performance. That if one really wants to reach this place of cosmic sexual practice and mastery and cosmic orgasmic alignment, they simply can't perform.
Yeah.
Like your orgasm is not something we can just turn on the camera and just make happen. Now when we go into our hearts and we go into our energy fields and we go to source, that is a sacred ritual, rite and passage and alignment. And from what I just recently experienced, there can be no performance in that.
Yeah.
I think this can help the world so much. Understand that your cosmic sexuality is not for performance. Performance cannot get you to alignment. And only alignment could be achieved through real devotion and dedication.
Yeah. And just for me, with that experience too, everything that you said, but also just with my own orgasmic experience of where I came from, like before you, and not being able to orgasm to every session that we have, there's, the cosmic orgasmic alignment. It was just like being fully present beats any idea of faking an orgasm or trying to perform. Like you said, you just want that experience. You want it to be real, and for it to be real, you have to just be present with yourself and your lover and source.
Levels.